Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, night number 2 of the INFRA Challenge 100s. 4 more races on the slate as another huge roster of drivers are trying to be the 44 luckiest, fastest, best drivers here tonight in Daytona Beach. We're happy to have you with us for our second night of action. David Schildhaus here, along with my broadcast teammates, Parker Kligerman and Landon Castle. Boys, we had a whale of a night last night, 4 exciting races. Not as much green flag racing as we would have liked, but we did see quite a few bold moves, I guess you could say, some surprises. But in the end, 11 drivers from each one of those races moved on. Now we get to do it all over again. Parker, we'll start with you. What did you see last night, and what do you expect to see tonight that, could be a little bit different?
Well, David, you said it. It wasn't as much green flag running as we had hoped. We also didn't see any of the real-life pro drivers like Kyle Busch or Denny Hamlin transfer through because, they looked like they had the speed, but they just were not able to maneuver their way through the fields as quick as they want without as much green flag running that we didn't have. So that was unfortunate, but we saw some great racing among some of the eNASCAR stars at the front of the field. Guys like Jimmy Mullis, Colin Keister put on incredible shows when we were under green. So we've told, I think, a lot of the racers here hopefully watched that last night and will be focusing on how they maybe make these races cleaner tonight because you just can't win it. You can't transfer, Landon, if you're not actually running at the end of these races.
Yeah, running at the front, Parker, is important, and it seemed like track position qualifying up front was important last night, but we did see some guys racing hard up front, hard for the lead. Colin Keister made a 3-wide move for the lead in a race that advances the top 11. One thing I noticed last night, Parker, was that as we got later into the races, that intensity running up front got turned up a little bit. I don't know why. Was it because the first couple groups were too conservative up front, and then when they realized that the second half of the field is just going to wreck anyways, that I might as well go all out, or what it could have been? But as we got into race 3 and race 4, we saw a lot more side-by-side racing in the top 6, the top 8. You talked about what was it, low margin, high risk, low margin moves. We saw
Yes.
a few of those. We could see some more tonight.
I agree, and I think that was the crazy thing was the racing up front. We saw guys like Colin Keister who maneuvered through the field so well when it really didn't matter. Once he was inside the top 8 or so, you felt like he was pretty safe. Jimmy Mullis, Blake Reynolds, they put on a hell of a show at the front of their field of their race, and they were safe. They were in the top 3. So, I think a lot of these drivers thought this was a big stage. They wanted to win, even though it didn't mean much to win. It wasn't any different between finishing 11th or winning. You're both going to advance all the way through, but we saw them wanting to put on that show. And hopefully tonight, I just really can't harp on enough. I think a lot of these drivers will have watched what happened last night and think about, hey, how can we be a little cleaner? That's just something I hope is on the agenda because I want to see green flag racing because when we did, it was awesome racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points. And that's exactly what we all want to see is green flag racing. So hopefully we will see more of that tonight. You see on your screen there, things to watch for tonight. In our first race here, race number 5 overall, Garrett Smithley, Ron Capps, 2 of the standout names that you will find in this field. We got some competitors from across the pond as well. So not just an American driver field. This is truly an international affair. And to your point that you were making, was the field watching last night, the guys who were driving tonight, were they watching their fellow competitors last night to see how important qualifying was and then how few green flag laps they may actually get to make their way up through the field? These are really the important things. And so those remain to be seen. But for Garrett Smithley, Ron Capps, a couple of guys coming in with different levels of experience, what do you think we're going to see to this? Ron Capps, maybe a little bit more of a wild card.
And, those are some of the real world racers that we have in tonight. They didn't do so well last night. Didn't go very well. I'd like to also.
We haven't had one advance, Parker.
No, we haven't had one advance. So they're really they would be the first if they do that. I got a lot of. I would say Garrett, in my opinion, probably has one of the best chances to do that. He's so such a frequent racer on the service, has so much experience in iRacing. But I also got to give a shout out to Christian Chalnier and Peter Bennett from the UK that are racing with us here. It's pretty late over there right now, so I know Peter Bennett was basically changing his sleep schedule a little bit, so he was getting up late at night just so he could be ready for this race. So that's real dedication, Landon, to being here and trying to get in the Firecracker 400.
Yeah, and obviously Christian drives for JTG in the NASCAR, eNASCAR iRacing Coca-Cola Series. I also want to shout out Mitchell Hunt, who's towards the top of the leaderboard right now in practice as they're closing in on the session, getting ready to qualify in grid. He's a former eNASCAR Coca-Cola driver, and a heartbreak. He's coming off missing the Pro Series by 1 spot in 2019. High I rating guy, knows what he's doing, very competitive. This is an opportunity, hopefully, for him to put up a big performance on a big stage. David, last night we talked about big players, big stages, big wins. This race, this event, everything that we want to do with eRacer is big stages and big events. So the whole idea of starting with 344 cars and having to narrow it down and all the wrecks and the cautions and, we don't like pacing and all that stuff, but there's a lot of uncertainty there. You don't know if you're going to make it to the next stage or not. So for someone like Mitchell Hunt, it's a good chance for him to prove himself and get a big win.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points there. The big names rising to the occasion on the biggest stages. We talked about Colin Keister yesterday. We talked about Justin Botello, who won the Monza Madness race earlier this year, and a lot of other names that came to the forefront. But still looking for some of those dark horse names, too, who might surprise us with a great run. We saw a few yesterday for sure, and with 4 more opportunities tonight, well, we could see more, maybe even see one of them take a checkered flag as well. And perhaps, just perhaps, Parker, we'll see one of these races finish under green as well. Remember, the format for tonight is just like last night, 40 laps or 40 minutes, whichever comes first. Unfortunately, yesterday it was all the 40 minutes. So what do you think, Parker? Tonight, could we get one of these things in, all 40 laps under green?
I have to think so. One of the things we do have to point out, and I'm sure Landon can talk more to this because he's our weather geek here on the broadcast team, but the weather is going to be different here for the races throughout because this is all done off the realistic weather at midday today in Daytona, which there was some interesting weather down there. So could be some different conditions, allowing a little bit more grip on the racetrack for some of these races. So that could help us out a little bit, avoiding some of those wrecks. Yesterday was really slick as we're watching a little bit of qualifying happening here right now. They're doing their qualifying laps. Qualifying, Landon, super important, we learned, because it was so many caution laps. So I think a lot of drivers have put a huge amount of emphasis on trying to be fast on that single lap in qualifying.
Yeah, as we're watching at 87 of Peter Bennett making his lap, you can see it's partly cloudy skies here in Daytona. It's about 85 degrees. And it's, I don't want to have any foreshadowing. We're just going to have to hang on as we're riding with Raja Karuth on the Blue Emu onboard cam. Raja looking good in there. It's nice and hot right now, but you know what happens when it's hot in Daytona in the middle of the summer. Things build up, the clouds come, we could see some weather. I don't know how do you handle weather in a sim, Parker? We're trying, but we're keeping the weather as realistic as we can, and the track is going to change. We've got 4 races tonight. The track usage is going to go up. We're going to see it getting blacker and blacker. Obviously, the usage is a little similar to how the race ended last night, but we're going to see it progress as these four challenge races go on.
The one good thing, guys, we don't have rain, so we will not be rain delayed, obviously. But we will, if there were a rain shower there, Landon, that might change the usage on the track, wipe some of that rubber off the racetrack. So we'll see what happens here as we go through the night.
Boys, I want to say we've already got our first our first social media jabs thrown our way. Yesterday was mostly pointed at Landon, but tonight I think none of us have been spared as I look at Twitter. And I see Mr. F4 Speed, Blake McCandless, checking in. He finished 5th in his prelim race last night. We got a chance to talk to him, but he put up a little screenshot of the 3 of us and says, at Schildhouse is an accountant, at Pete Klickerman is a church attendee, and at Landon Castle is a cash for gold salesman. Changed my mind.
Cash for gold, Blake? Oh, man. Well, listen, no better time right now to hang on to some gold in this uncertain market. Never want to be stuck in a liquidity crunch. A lot of potential inflation.
Just keep dropping finance money. Terms. Just keep driving.
I'm just thinking. Let me get
low interest rate. Derivative.
Anyways, give me a
buy
call.
low, sell high.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, thank you, Blake. We appreciate it, and an open invitation to everybody watching, whether you're on Twitch, on Facebook, or on Twitter, or any other social media outlet that you're finding us. First of all, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the night with all of us, and we want to invite you to participate in tonight's event. Get involved. Jump in the chat on Facebook, on Twitch. Let us know who you're cheering for. What do you want to see tonight? And as always, you can use social media as well with the hashtag Firecracker400. We'll be keeping an eye on that so you can keep in touch with all of us as well and keep the conversation going. So we want to make this nice and interactive for everybody. We're trying to get some more interactivity going on, working on some cool things for you guys. Perhaps we can work in a few tonight, but that's what we want to do is interact with all of you and make you feel like you're the biggest part of this show like we are. And we're just here watching and lucky enough to be sharing it with you. So
David, I don't want to interrupt, but I'm just looking here at qualifying right now.
I see it. I see it.
Who is in first right now? We haven't had a real racer go through.
Yeah.
Look at that. Garrett Smithley. I mean, that's awesome. I love
the
it.
mainstream coming through, man. It's we've been waiting to see. We've talked about it a few times about when's one of the real life drivers finally going to step up and make something happen. Well, I think the first rock's finally been thrown here by Garrett Smithley going P1 in qualifying.
He's setting the pace, but later on we've got some big ones coming. I mean, we've got Dale Jr., we've got William Byron. Did I mention we have Dale Jr. coming later? Yes.
Is that Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
we've got NASCAR Hall of Famer Dale Jr. We've got inductee NASCAR Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte. So really good crowd coming a little bit later.
Tons of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series stars are going to be throughout the fields here tonight. So they've been hugely supportive of this event. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
That's a good half of the drivers.
All right, well, let's take a look at the starting lineup for this first race. And as we mentioned, Garrett Smithley is going to be the one leading him to the green flag. Connor Horn to his outside in that second spot. Good job for Connor there. Representing FTF Racing Leagues, Jake Poulin will roll off from the third position. John Gorlinski in fourth. Good to see John up there from the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Jordan Hurley will roll off from the inside of row number 3 alongside Casey Tucker from Slip Angle Motorsports. Samuel Roush will roll off 7th. Alonzo Morales from 8th. Christian Challoner, another Coke Series driver there in 9th. And Aaron McEachern will roll off from that 10th position, Parker.
Yeah, you have Samuel Roush on the inside of row 4. Alonzo Morales there on the outside of row 4. Christian Challoner back on row 5. He's the eNASCAR driver, as we said, for JTG Daughtry Racing. Aaron McEachern, Kyle Little, and Barrett. I don't know how to attempt this one. Palomas, I'm going to say, outside of row 6 there.
Man, Parker, I appreciate you reading those again. I got Josh Coley right here inside row 7. Mitchell Hunt with Mitchell Hunt. R. Hank Steinmiller, Cody Ober, Peter Bennett, Callum Farley outside of row 9.
We got Brett Baldeck there in 19th. Ryan Anderson round out the top 20. Ron Capps talked about him, one to keep an eye on back there in 21st. With Stephen Waldrop 22nd. Daniel Adam 23rd. Good to see Daniel in the field there, racing Revo. We know and love him. Philip Bush in 24th. Christopher Rothrock 25th. Dave Sanders 26th. Steve Azeni in 27th. Christian Hawley 28th. John Tarrant 29th. And Brett Murphy rounds out the top 30. Parker, if you get the last 12 there, we'll see how you do. You got some names.
All right. Tyler Packer there on the inside of row 16. Branson Cogan. Raja Caruth there. Aaron Mulrooney Jr. Robert Duvendak. Chris J. Scales. I mean, I'm doing pretty well. Brandon Thornhill, Dustin Ping, Marshall C. Gable, Tyler Ellinson, Tyler Dittmer, and Dave Cuvier.
Well, you got it. Man, see, there you go.
Starting lineup. I like it. That's some pro stuff, guys.
Look at that good-looking Radius house car that Garrett Smithley is driving on the pole. I think old Radius Bob has got to be pretty proud of that.
That's a beautiful, beautiful race car. I saw Garrett put that tweet out with that picture. Oh man, I said I don't want to choose favorites. I have to be impartial, but that is a good-looking race car.
You know, Radius, our good friends at Radius, they put up the Radius bounty at the LCQC, an extra $1,000 if you could win running their paint scheme. Obviously, we've got Garrett. He's driving the house car here all week. So hopefully he gets through all the stages driving those Radius schemes. But once we get to the Firecracker 400, I think you could see that Radius 1K come back with a bounty. Big bonus if you win.
A bounty, huh? We've had some bounties in NASCAR recently.
So we have. We've had some bounties in iRacing recently.
Yeah, it didn't work out for me. I got
Oh
caught.
man. Well, see, if you got caught, if somebody has to put a bounty on you, that tells you you're doing something right, right?
That's true. That is true. Funny enough, it's these guys right here, Big Green Egg, that were the culprits there, but I think we could get this party started right now.
Absolutely. Pace car is off. Green flag in the air presented by Big Green Egg. And it's going to be Garrett Smithley leading the field down across the stripe for the first time, side by side. And look at that inside lane. Get a good run through. Jay pulling in that 21, pulling up to the back bumper of Smithley, side by side behind Smithley all the way through. And now we wait, guys. Now we wait to see, do we have patience or are we going to get that early wreck?
Well, one of the things we saw last night is, especially at the front, as we see Garrett Smithley was on the bottom. He's holding the bottom. Now he'll move to the top down the backstretch. They were really fighting for the bottom, especially as we got in the later races last night. It looks like it's a little cleaner in the back than we were seeing last night, so that's good to see. But you'll see them sort of side by side now, jockeying for position. Eventually, we should see them sort of get single file because these tires start to really wear off, and then they get really loose. As you see one of the cars there off of turn 4 get loose, Landon.
Oh, very loose off of turn 4, but it's like if you can get through these first 3 or 4 laps, everybody can kind of find a line, and then it's about 5 laps on tires where tires get hot enough that you start getting really loose into the corner, really loose off. So we can see more side-by-side racing kind of thinning out. Last night, some of the leaders took that bottom lane once it was single file restart. So Garrett, probably start favoring the bottom, make them go to the outside.
Look at that transfer cam, Parker. That's yeah, that's important. That's something to definitely keep an eye on, right in that 11th position, because that's where you got to be. Top 11 is going to be those who transfer in, and right now it's a hornet's nest right there. That's Aaron McEachern, Kyle Little, Mitchell Young, Josh Culley, Alonso Morales. They're just in and not, but you know what? They're doing a nice job. That's
where your stomach is basically just, in a knot right there as you're running around 11s, you're jockeying for position right there. You're in the transfer spot. You're out of the transfer spot. We should note on the left side of your screen on the ticker there, the cars with a little bit of a tint of green. That is the top 11. They're the ones that will advance. As well as if you look at the numbers, the blue and the colors underneath their actual number, there is their license level. So blue is A license. The black is the World Championship drivers, Pro Class. And then green and so on and so forth. Red is rookie.
That Aaron McCarron in the 16, that's Pontiac kid. He's a Castle streamer. Painted himself.
Is he one of your guys?
Looking good. Yeah, he's one of my guys. Well, I think he's everybody. He spends a lot of time in our stream in the Discord. I know he's in a lot of Twitch. So now we got Mitchell Hunt here in the transfer spot. Mitchell, probably not the best qualifying effort that he was looking for.
Guys, I'm really, really impressed with this group right here. I mean, they are running side by side. 5, 6, 7 rows deep with these cars. You can see them physically bouncing around. You see the sparks flying off. Oh, Garrett Smithley gets super loose.
Off the bottom, and now
turn 4. Wow. But hold on to it.
Well, we got a yellow here. That's Bronson Kogan in the number 74 machine. You had to say it. He gets loose in turns 3 and 4, and we saw this so many times yesterday, Parker. So many times a guy just gets loose by himself on the top side, brings it down across the track as he's trying to save it, overcorrects, and ends up getting absolutely tattooed by Christian Hawley in the Penzo machine. Sends that NASA car nearly to space. And that's tough for Bronson Kogan right there. As you look, you see him out of shape there, and he's just trying to save it. But I guess the good news is he was a little bit further back in the pack, so not too many cars there to hit him.
And we saw Raja Karuth have a great avoidance there in that Wendell Scott tribute car, but then he got nailed in the back of another car coming along, and he'll probably, if he has enough damage, probably have to take that reset. We should remind people there is one reset in these prelim races, which means you get one shot to repair that car entirely, and then after that, if you wreck again and it's done, your night is done, your Firecracker 400 is done. So that's unfortunate for the NASA car there getting sent off into space, but it's what something we've seen is that outside lane for whatever reason, Landon, just doesn't seem to hold the cars as well. You even though the bottom is so bumpy and the car is so unsettled, when you're up top, you have to pitch it into the corner and slide it so much. It's really a hard balancing act for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, and I think, Parker, that might change in the 400-mile race when we get more cars, more laps on the racetrack with these cars, more green flag racing. It might bring in that outside groove a little bit if it can get some more rubber. But for right now, it's just a little bit slicker up there. And I hate to say that I told you so, but what lap did that caution happen? Lap 5. That's, to me, in all the practice that I did, all the practice races that I ran, lap 5 was the first lap that the cars really started to slide around more. And you can run wide open with your right side tires on the dashed line through the corner. You see the dashed lines above Garrett's car there on the outside groove. You can do that for about 5 laps, but after you get 5 laps on your tires, you got to start breathing it a little bit. You got to keep it off the wall.
We see a few cars on pit road, a number of cars, about 6, 7, 8 cars on pit road. Some of them taking the opportunity to get damage fixed. It looks like Raja Karuth is not going to take his quick repair. He's sitting in the stall, letting the crew work on that thing to get that rear bumper banged out as best as possible. Still a significant amount of damage to the right rear, but I think we saw yesterday that you can sustain some damage to this car and still be relatively okay. So I think he's just going to test the waters, perhaps bank on the fact that we might get more yellows, and keep that quick repair in the back pocket as long as he can. Not a bad strategy, but again, Parker, as we've seen, when you go to the back, it's so hard to get back up to the front.
It is, and it's the reason we won't see a lot of pit strategy in this race. So for Garrett, Smithley, Poulin, Horn, Gorlinski, basically your top 11, top 10, they absolutely will not pit. With a couple cautions here, they can make it the whole way. And, even though the tires will start to fall off a lot, it doesn't matter. Track position will be so important. So as we get late in this race, just because Garrett's leading now, or, some of these drivers are up front, they're going to have to be able to hold on to that car in some really old tires as well. And, be able to navigate restarts and racing side by side for those first couple laps. So I think, we won't see the pit strategy, but there is an element of tire saving in there and trying to have the best tires late in the race.
Well, it looks like the lights just went out on the pace car, so we're probably going to be going back to green here, I imagine. Looks like everyone trying to get themselves sorted. Lapped cars coming up the inside. We've got 2 lapped cars. That's Dave Cuvier, and the other one is John Tarrant. And they do allow 3 lapped cars to line up on the inside there. Single file restarts. Lapped cars to the inside, 3 of them allowed. So I like that rule. We saw some trouble yesterday, Landon, with lapped cars starting up towards the front and creating some issues for the guys running towards the front. Hopefully we won't see that here, but if you're a lap down, you got to go for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to try to unlap yourself. Everybody's got a fair chance. It will go back to single file restart after, I think, maybe the 3rd caution. If there's 3 cars lined up, the guy that I don't want to be in this situation is that 3rd place Connor Horn. Connor, he's a really good driver, really great at B-Fixed, runs a lot of NIS, so I could imagine that he's excited to try to get into the 400-mile race, running a distance race, a longer full distance race. But if I'm him, I don't want to be. I don't want to be in that spot where a lap car could be boxing me in from a good run on the leaders.
Well, remains to be seen how it plays out, and that's why we're watching. We get the dual shots there on the right side of the screen, one on the transfer spot and one, of course, on our illustrious flagman, Barney, as the pace car pulls off, and the big green flag goes back in the air. Smithley down and away, trying to pull that outside lane with him. Poulin a little bit slower to get up through the gears there, a little bit of a gap there, but gets a good push from behind from the number 1 of Connor Horn as they get back up to speed. Those lap cars holding that bottom pretty well, but just as soon as I say that, we are back under yellows. They piled it up at the start-finish line, and that we've seen this a couple times, that rubber band effect, guys, and I'm not sure exactly what happened here.
Looked like there was some accordion on that restart. These single-file restarts, guys, a lot of guys are not used to that, and it's really hard to properly gauge when to go. I mean, just because you see the green light come on and the leader go doesn't mean it's time for you to go. Sometimes it takes another 3 or 4 seconds.
Well, we've seen that. We've seen that, Parker, that rubber banding. But, I think when we saw it yesterday, race control addressed it and got it cleared up pretty quickly.
They did. And we, going to this event, knew those would be tricky restarts. So we've probably put in some really draconian rules about popping out a lane, trying to get runs on the others. We'll probably get the replay up here in a second. So we got to look at it right now. And yeah, I mean, these cars are just so separated. They're probably trying to get a run on each other. Then, of course, they're all going to check up. That's I'm sure the race officials will look down upon that and be seriously sending some warnings and maybe even parking some cars, because that's completely against the rules.
Yeah, that was just too big of a gap there leading up to the green. And I mean, you got guys that are full brake at the start finish line to try to avoid the accordion effect.
Yeah, that is as we say, not the way to do it. So
that's a good way to say it. Thank you, Parker.
Yeah,
not the way.
Not the way.
Well, I hear race control Josh Mendoza doing a great job explaining to the drivers exactly what's expected on these starts. So big shout out to Josh, who did a fantastic job yesterday, of course, in race control, back at it again tonight, and making sure these drivers understand exactly how they got to be approaching these restarts, because that's such an easy way to really have things go sideways, no pun intended. But these cars, we'll talk about the restarts, I'm sure, plenty tonight as we get them, the differentiation between these cars and the current Cup car for the gearbox and how hard it is to get the cars up to speed. But all that stuff really doesn't matter to me if you're maintaining your gap and you just go when the guy in front of you goes. It seems like a simple concept.
It does, right? And it should be. The thing is, if you were watching last night, you'll have heard this, but we'll reiterate for those who weren't. It's one of those situations where the car, just being old-fashioned and replicating what they had back then, it has with the gearing and the torque situation, if you don't really nail the start in second gear, it can create a huge gap to the car in front of you. So a lot of people try to time it. They're trying to, almost game the system a little bit, game the restart. And that's when you get those accordion effects that we don't like to see. And that's why we put in some rules that really should have stopped that. And what we saw there and what caused this wreck was basically against the rules. So yeah, that was, it's not what we like to see, Landon. It's why we tried our best, at least, to instruct them not to do that. But like any other race car drivers in the world, once you get in the race car and you get the red mist going, all that goes out the window.
Yeah, I like that you talked about the horsepower in these cars, because these things go 200 miles an hour on their own easily. That was the beauty of these cars back then. In fact, NASCAR had to, for the first time, really restrict the carburetors in the late 80s and slow the cars down to keep them on the ground. Now, fortunately, we still get to enjoy the blowovers at the comfort of our own simulators, and nobody gets hurt here. But they can go pretty fast with low horsepower, so there's just not a lot of throttle response at that low RPM. They gotta get going. They gotta get rolling, Parker, and so it's just hard to anticipate these restarts, on top of the fact that we're not used to single file restarts.
David, I'm looking right now, and I believe we're gonna have a serious amount of lap cars on the inside right here. So this is gonna be interesting, considering what we just saw in that last restart.
And you got competitive guys. I mean, you got Roger Carruth back there, 3 rows back. He just took his reset. That car was jumped pretty good, so I hate seeing him lose a lap on pit road. But if I'm him, I'm gonna race my butt off to try to get this lap back. So this could cause some issues for these top 10 drivers.
He absolutely will be racing hard. Now, I'm a little surprised. Perhaps I read it wrong. I thought only 3 cars were allowed on the inside lane. Did I get that wrong?
I think it's 3 restarts, and then it goes back to single file. Yeah.
Okay. So I misunderstood. My apologies.
Hey,
we got 5 cars. All right, we got 5 cars lined up on the inside. Carruth being one of the biggest names, I think, there. But again, he's going to have to get out in front of these guys, and then get in front of the leader, and then hope for a yellow to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. But that's a lot to ask. But perhaps the caution will finally fall his way. The first 2 times, it certainly did not. Pace car pulls off. Big green egg, green flag back in the air. And we'll keep an eye on these boys to see how tidy this start is. Again, a couple of gaps here, a couple of very big gaps further back in the pack. But seemingly everybody keeps it straight for the time being. It's a mad dash down to turn 1. Look at Carruth, 3 wide down on the bottom, trying to get by Gorlinski and Cuvier, and he's going to turn Cuvier. Cuvier came down, now back on the track, and they are wrecked once again. That almost seemed inevitable, Parker. And we saw it, and that's
no. Yikes. Yeah, you hate to see that. And there's no way to put that's just being overly aggressive. I get your lap down. I get, there is no lucky dogs, but to just junk that many race cars, not cool. I'm certain race control will frown upon that in a very stern way, because that is basically against everything we wrote in the rule book for this event. And it's just you don't want to see that. So I don't know. I mean, it's an aggressive move. I think the 45 could have given Raja a little bit more space, but man, that's really unfortunate to see that far up the field. It's always going to take out a lot of cars.
Yeah, that's tough, but that's racing, man. I mean, I know you want to be. I mean, we're definitely hard on him, but man, it's an opportunity to race in a big event. But man, I hate it for these drivers that got knocked out. That was tough.
So I can see here that Dave Cuvier has been disqualified from the event. Race Control decided to disqualify Cuvier from that event, or from this event rather, and so that's an interesting layer, Parker. You talked about the fact that Race Control was going to come down hard on things sometimes if they determined in their estimation that it was outside the rules, and we see our first administrative strike, I guess you could say, posed against the driver.
And here's the other thing, it was made pretty clear to us last night that a massive amount of wrecks were occurring outside the top 25 cars running on the racetrack. And, being that those cars were lapped down, they were outside the top 25. And we had, maybe a rule, or the way the rule read was that if you caused multiple cautions, you may be black flagged. Whereas what we moved to after last night, because it became pretty apparent that a lot of people were, maybe trying to take advantage of that multiple times, is that we moved to a situation where if you do cause a caution that is avoidable, we have full disclosure and at our discretion to black flag you and remove you from the event. And I believe that's what the officials decided to do. So we, you see Christian Challenger that's in the pits from that. He was solidly in the top 10. Looked like it would be an easy transfer for that talented NASCAR driver. A guy I've spent a lot of time racing with. He and I did the Daytona 24 hours earlier this year together. That was a lot of fun, but he doesn't deserve to be in the pits there, and I think that's why the officials looked at that as saying, look, that's not how we want to see it. We're going to set an example.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to send a message to the other lap cars and avoidable wrecks in general. I mean, if this is your second caution, for sure, and we're calling it avoidable because it's where our race control is going to use their judgment, and we don't want to see these cautions. We know there's going to be more, though. This is a tough race, Parker. I mean, this is a tough event. I've had to qualify into hard races. I don't know if I've had to qualify into one this hard before against this many drivers.
That is, I mean, I am very stern. I'm pretty hard on the drivers, but I do see, that side of it too. This is incredibly difficult to enter a race with 40 plus cars, knowing that the top 11 advance. And if you do advance, you are going to get paid. So I think that's, the element of it. That's the element of why we're seeing these high risk, low percentage moves. And I don't blame the drivers, but, as race control and as organizers, we've got to do what we can to put on the best event, the fairest event. And sometimes that means, making tough decisions in terms of what we deem to be unacceptable. And that, those types of moves and what we just saw there was by our officials deemed unacceptable.
Well, there you go. A lot of discussion in the server right now. A lot of discussion between the drivers. A lot of discussion between the spectators as well. Everyone certainly has an opinion on this, and that's to be expected. It's certainly a divisive thing. The first time we've seen an administrator park, a driver in this event. So that's a big deal, and first time we've seen it. So, of course, that's going to draw a little bit of a reaction. But, lights are out atop the pace car. It means another restart's coming.
Hopefully it's the last one.
Hopefully it's the last one. Smithley continues to lead, and going back to social media, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Garrett put up a picture of himself. He's in a tie and a suit jacket with a T-shirt. The tie's a little sloppy. It's actually very sloppy, but he put on the jacket, he put on the tie to try and embody the spirit of what we're doing here, and
That's awesome.
he sure does look okay in it, I guess.
It looks
Garrett
snazzy.
knows how to get that lead stream going.
Well, they got to be excited. Their man's out front. He's been leading every lap, looking really good. We're looking at time here, probably another 15 minutes or so left in this race. I doubt we're going to get to 40 laps, but for Garrett, he's doing everything he needs to do.
15 minutes, so we might have a chance here.
Yeah, a little bit of time. A little bit of time.
Yep.
Just got to stop wrecking, right?
That's right. We got Lean Stream in the chat right now from Gotham Daisy, Mark from NC. Dad Gamer Swiss is in the chat. Dad, good to see you. We're going green, though.
Yes, DGS, we love to see a big green egg, green flag back in the air. Hello, everybody. Smithley back down underway. We were all single file, so I guess that's that third restart rule, all single file all the way through. Interesting enough, Raja Karuth lines up, the seventh car in line here, Parker, so we'll keep an eye on him as he's going to continue to be aggressive, but still a lap down.
Yep, and we're seeing riding on board right now Garrett Smithley. We've got the transfer spot cam up there, which is watching Josh Cully right now. He's currently in that transfer spot as Poulian gets real close to Garrett Smithley down into turn 3. Just getting a little bump, little help.
Big run on the outside from the 33, it looks like there, of Brett Baldeck. You just got to watch. And is Raja in there as well?
Yeah.
Getting in the mix. I mean, if you're Raja, you know there's a caution coming, but you also saw a guy.
There's going to be one right behind them, I'm pretty sure. Oh,
I think it's a blowover.
Yeah, it's a blowover. We're going to have to add it. We'll wait for the production team to get the graphic up, but I think everyone knows what's coming.
I think our cameraman is running with the camera right now.
That was almost a double blowover. Almost.
Yep. Yeah. And I believe it also was a car that has been very comfortable flying through the air in this race.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Parker, you're going to hate to see this. That was our Hank Steinmiller in the 75 Valvoline machine. It was the one that actually took flight. The NASA machine, who took flight earlier, kept them all on the tarmac. But Valvoline taking flight today.
That might be the most violent blowover that we've had.
So
in the Firecracker.
We got to add that to the Ventrac blowover count. That's going to be number 4 for the event. There was 3 last night. That is Ventrac blowover count number 4 here for our Heinz Steinmiller gets that honor, as you see the blowover count right there at 4. So if anyone in the chat has any predictions as to how high that might get by the end of the Firecracker 400 event, by all means, please send it in. I'm curious to see what people think.
What's the over under? Are we at line?
Let's do a poll. Landon, can you do a poll on your end?
How do you do a poll in chat? Somebody
you're going to do
a poll. I got my keyboard.
You're going to do a backspace with and type poll.
Okay.
And it should bring up a menu for you.
Okay. Open to set up a menu.
I think a mod might be able to do it for you as well. But yeah, if you do that, you should get the menu, and then you should put in the poll question, put in some options, and set your timer, and then go.
Controller King, let's set up. Oh,
Controller King!
I'm a pro streamer. Oh, Chris Handel, I'm sorry. Chris, run from the production truck and help me out here.
Oh no. Man. You know he's furiously typing to your phone right now at the moment. Be like, hey, no, come on, man, stop! I got this.
Oh man, that's great. Oh man, and speaking of Chris, we got to give Chris Handel some serious credit. I mean, what a wonderful job he's done building out this broadcast for us, leading the team, support class. That's his company. They do a wonderful job. He's also family. Chris is my cousin, so
nice.
Love getting some.
Well, you bring up a good point. We got to give a big shout out to everyone that's been a part of this team here for the Firecracker 400. The team has grown exponentially over the last couple weeks. It's hit its highest numbers just here today. It's been an incredible team. The entire production team has done a great job. Our own Joshua Mendoza has done an incredible job on the officiating side and organizing. David Schildhouse, thank you for joining us here on the broadcast side. I'm probably forgetting some people, but I think this is it's been a great group, and we can't thank them enough. And all the competitors that have decided to enter these races, all 344. It was an incredible response that we got for this race. And we actually ended up having to extend the entries. They filled up so quickly. So it's really cool to see the community that got behind this race, and hopefully, even the ones that don't make it through have some form of enjoyment through the practice, through all the practices and all the things we did leading up to this, these prelim nights. So we hope everyone enjoys it.
Yeah,
all right, Garrett's up to some shenanigans here.
Uh-oh.
And yes, thank you, Parker. Absolutely, big shout out to everyone involved. Our producer Ryan Bauer pushing all the buttons and make everything happen. He's doing a whale of a job. All of our camera guys as well. Everyone involved doing a phenomenal job. So thank you, Parker and Lana, for making this all happen. But Garrett Smithley says if this race goes yellow for the rest of the race, he will give the rest of the field $1 each.
If it goes yellow the rest of the race?
So
Okay.
He wants no more green flag racing, which, I mean, I guess we have to give him a restart because that's technically a green flag lap. But yeah, so he's willing to risk what, $40?
$40. Well, he'll earn it back from a starting spot in Firecracker 400 if he can make it back and make it that far. We're getting ready to go green here soon, though. We're on the pacing weight. We've taken the one to go. We have a poll up, David, in the chat. How many blowovers by the end of the Firecracker 400? And the categories are pretty aggressive. Because what are we at right now, Parker? 4? Okay, so 3 to 5, only 2 votes, 2%. 6 to 8, 9 to 11, 12 to 14, and 15 plus. We're kind of shooting the middle. Between 9 and 11, we're at 31%, but there's a lot of weight on the top side, 12 to 14 and 15 plus. 20% of the vote is at 15 plus. So, I mean, we've got 3 more races after this one, and then we have a 200-mile race and a 400-mile race. So, not sure how much.
Yeah,
how many blowovers?
I'm not sure 15 plus feel.
I think my over/under is at 8, 8.5. I'm gonna put it at 8.
Well, big green flag back in there. We'll see if we can add to that total, if it stays the same here at 4. Remember, we had 3 last night alone. So if we average 3 a night going in, I think you can do the math on that. Single file for the first 3. Caruth, of course, pops out of line there. And there's that yellow. So Smithley might be owing some people some money there. Driving through the grass, still wrecking in 1 and 2. Ron Capps involved, along with others. Philip Bush, Samuel Roush, Josh Culley. Looks like a couple other cars sliding through the grass as well. What in the world happened here? Wow. They're 3 wide on the restart here, almost 4 wide, as there's a Marshall Gable on the apron all the way through, going 4 wide. Yeah, that was interesting.
Leaves you speechless a little bit. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. This is, drivers being a little bit desperate at the back of the pack, seeing that counter, this race moving to time, trying to get runs on the restart and be aggressive by getting a ton of cars so they can possibly get themselves, in position to advance. But as we said from the beginning, you can't advance if you're not running. And I think a lot of these cars are just not running by that mantra, pardon the pun. They're taking every risk possible, David, and seeing if it pays off, and damn the torpedoes if it doesn't. And I don't know. It's as I said, it's really cool when racing green, but sometimes when this happens, and we see these consistent cautions and they build on each other, it's just really frustrating.
Yeah. I looking back at this restart, there's just again some really, really poor spacing and pacing going on around that just outside the top 10. There's just some gaps in guys that are,
I mean, you can't leave a gap. You can't, I guess it works for you. I mean, to leave a half a second gap to the car in front of you. But look, you can't pass on the inside before the start finish line, okay? So if the guy in front of you is up against the wall on the right side, you leave a half second gap. You just close your gap to him before you get to the start finish line. You have to slam on the brakes, and the whole field behind you has to do this big slinky, and it brings out a caution. So just gotta be a little patient. We've been doing double file restarts for so long, and the double file restarts don't slinky as bad as a single file. It's 20 rows of cars at the most, not 40 rows of cars, or 40 cars in a row, I guess.
Well, do you think we just forgot how to drive apparently single file restarts? Because I can remember when I first came into stock car racing, we were still at single file restarts, and eventually it moved to, and I don't remember in real life ever, running into this. And I don't remember back in 1987. So I think what's happened is, and I don't remember us suddenly going when we've gone, I don't know if we really have gone back to single file any time since in real life, but I can't imagine if I went back to single file, I'd have such trouble as double file. So I think, I keep putting it on. This is drivers trying to, make runs and trying to take advantage of, drivers that are trying to do it by the rules, and we end up with the wrecks we get.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can tell you that we're going to fix this. Or we're going to try to fix it. I don't know. Maybe we did forget how to do single file restarts, but I'm going to be honest with you. I love everybody that's in the Twitch chat right now, that's watching this broadcast, and I am in full caps right now on Race Control, sending a message to this group. And if I see one more of these, I think I'm just gonna have to turn Josh loose with that band hammer, and if somebody rear ends a driver beyond 20th on a restart, if you run into the back of somebody, I think it's just gonna be an end of the line and then a DQ. So we need to fix this.
We do. Landon, it's up to us. We have the power.
We do have the power.
We got the band hammer. Look, here's the thing. The coolest thing about all this is that, isn't very readily apparent with all the caution we've had, but we got to give a shout out to iRacing, because obviously none of this would be possible without them and this awesome platform that we have to race on, and them going to work and getting these 1987 cars into the sim and replicating them so incredibly well and allowing us to, to put on this Firecracker 400 event. And that's the thing. They replicated them so well. It gives you appreciation for how hard these cars were to drive back then. I mean, these drivers in NASCAR back in that time, your Dale Earnhardts, your Bill Elliott's, were just incredible race car drivers, being able to hang on to these beasts and, wheel them around for 500 miles or 400 miles at a time. So, you might be looking at this and not know a lot about iRacing, and just know these are incredibly hard to drive because they're so realistic.
Well, it's been a journey so far. That much is for sure. That's a nice way of putting it. Frustrating when we're struggling to pace. That's
let's not get frustrated. We got a long night ahead of us. We got 3 races. All right, cool our jets. We're going back green.
Don't make it your drinking term.
Oh, brother. Big green egg, green flag back in the air as, again, we get a getaway here. And, again, another just huge gaps. But I guess if there's huge gaps, they can't really wreck if they're not around anybody.
We'll take it.
That's the going prevailing thought at this point. Seems to be everyone's got their ducks in a row. Speaking of being in a row, the top 4 cars are in a row. Finally, as we hit the backstretch at speed for the first time in quite some time, with a little bit of racing going on.
Garrett Smithley continues to lead, holding off Connor Horn there, and these 3 have broken away. They got Raja Carruth there, who's still a lap down. He's still trying to get in front of these leaders to get his lap back. He's tagging along this lead pack, and then a bit of separation back to the next group, and then all the way back to our transfer spot cam there, which I believe is Christian Chalnier maybe in the position? Or is that Steve Azeni? Steven Azeni is actually in that position.
Very close. Steven Azeni, Peter Bennett, all there, Marshall Cable. Very close racing going on, but Garrett giving up the lead a little bit to Connor Horn. Still holding that bottom, though. It's the safest place to be. I just watch out for Roger.
Oh, we got one out of
and they're wrecking on the backstretch.
Oh, he saved it.
One in the grass.
He's
saved it. I don't know how he saved it. That was, oh my gosh, there was a lot of cars coming from behind, and they managed to avoid John Tarrant there in the 29, so we stay green, thank goodness. That was getting sketchy, though. I don't know how.
Hey,
how they all saved
Roger
it.
Carruth right here, challenging the race leader to unlap himself. Almost as a yellow
and it's
comes
gonna
out.
work.
I don't know if he got it.
I don't know if he got
it.
there. It looked like he was ahead, but we are going back to iRacing's timing, and it looks like he gave him the spot.
Yep.
But this does put him, the you do stay in your position here, so that this does put him behind the leader on this restart.
So the caution is going to be just a giant cluster that ends up seeing Christian Challoner go around in the middle of a pack around that 21st position. They were checking up. There were cars going slower, faster, and Christian had nowhere to go and gets tagged from behind by Caleb Farley. And just a stack-up effect, and then Challoner, just gets turned. There was a very slow car. That was John Tarrant, the one who was sideways down the back straightaway, guys, who was trying to get back up to speed, and everyone just scrambled to get around him, and Challoner just got turned.
Yeah, and that's a tough break for Christian. I mean, that just shows he got a little behind, some bad luck early on. He was in a good position, but when he got in an accident there with the lap car, and bad just turns to worse.
Now, the snowball effect, what that does now is put Peter Bennett in that transfer position, Parker. He's in that 11th position. I know that's going to make you happy as he's part of our Burton Kligerman Esports contingent there. Time's starting to click down here as you see less than 4.5 minutes to go in this race. Probably time for a restart, but maybe not too many laps after that.
It's going to be tight, and you mentioned it in our transfer spot right now. Trans-service transfer spot is Peter Bennett, one of our Burton Kligerman Esports drivers, and racing from the UK right now. So quite late over there, but he's committed to this. He really wanted to be a part of this event. Actually, I saw on Twitter he was taking a bath to get his mind right for the event earlier. So I mean, hey, look, if he gets the transfer, then that's real commitment. It might be a note for some of the other drivers out there. Hey, look, you might need a pre-race bath to get centered before this.
Yeah, that was an interesting picture. I'm glad he didn't show any more.
No.
The Suds action that I saw did not seem like it was enough Suds action to provide a Twitter-friendly picture, but thankfully he showed a little restraint and didn't show any leg.
Yeah. Oh man, no, we didn't want to see much more than that.
Yeah, we do have some good underdog stories right now as we close in what will be. I think we'll get one more restart here before we run out of time, Parker. But I'm looking at 9th, 10th, 11th place. I see a C license in 8th. In 9th, Marshall Gable as a D at 2,600. In 11th is Peter Bennett 3 with a 2,000 iRating. So some pretty good stories going into the next round. Should these guys transfer, when you're looking at Christian Challoner, World Championship driver who's on the outside looking in, some pretty high iRatings there on the outside looking in. Raja Karuth obviously still a lap down.
Yeah, and you actually have the other eNASCAR driver who drives for William Byron Esports, which is John Gorlinski. He's just in 6th right now. I think he's been playing it smart. I've been watching him a little bit, had my eye on him. He seems to be just taking it super easy, riding in the transfer zone, basically knowing that he doesn't need to take too many undue risks. But right outside, that transfer spot you mentioned that Peter Bennett's in, Steven Azeni, and something interesting about him is that he actually, sort of runs a joke scheme a lot of times, which is Scrabble. The game Scrabble on his card, and his nickname is Scrabble Bags because he thinks his name looks like just a hodgepodge of letters. So, if Scrabble Bags is able to scrabble something up or get the right letters and vowels and all those things put together, maybe he can find himself in that transfer spot.
Well, how about we donate a sub to somebody in the chat that can come up with the most points, Scrabble points out of the word Azeni. I guess it's hard to validate whether I don't know how we can validate that. Maybe the first person to do it, the quickest Google fingers. Somebody in the chat get him a sub.
I was gonna say you're probably gonna need a double or a triple. You can really do something with that, but
hang on,
good luck.
Coming in.
Oh man, we'll see what comes. See what comes of that.
3 Wide Racing says it's Izeni with a Z. Is there?
Hold on.
Am I getting this? Yeah, Izeni with a Z. 15 points, 17 points, 16. I mean, maybe they are playing honestly, English. Parker. Maybe they're playing it honestly.
I don't know
because I'm getting a bunch of different answers.
Is that a word? Izeni? I'm not sure about that one.
No, it's not. I just looked it up. It's not English.
No.
Hey, I also.
That's not English.
we've taken the one to go here, so we're about to go green. I do want to shout out to Mrs. Castle, who is in the chat right now, my lovely wife, who allows me to spend a lot of time putting this stuff together. And really, thank you so much, Mrs. Castle. I love you, taking care of the kids while I play video games. I mean, simulator and race cars. We got 20 seconds
don't
left
say
in this
video
race.
game.
She also
Yeah,
said
it's not video game.
Travel
I
with
shouldn't say that.
Castle. I don't know what that's about, but hey, let's see. Let's get this restarted. It could be, I guess, maybe a green-white here. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what it gives them.
Well, I'll tell you this: when I played Scrabble, the rules always had to be an English word. We played English Scrabble, so that's
Yes.
I think that's the
I think
rule
that's
we'll
a
put
key
into play
rule.
from that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Big green egg, green flag back in the air. A little time to work here. We'll see what these guys can do. Keep an eye on that transfer spot cam, as this is supposed to be the last lap, I do believe, of this race. So a 1-lap dash for Cash Parker.
We will see a checkered flag.
Yeah, and I think if we will see one under green, and
Don't curse
Peter
it.
Bennett got it. Well, we'll see. But we got Peter Bennett there. He got a big restart, got away from Steven Azeni and Brett Baldeck, and finds himself in that transfer spot with a little bit of the gap. Hopefully they don't get a big run on him. He can hold on to this coming to the checkered.
Garrett looking to break the draft on Connor Horn there down the backstretch under the yellow line. Big block into turn 3. What are we doing? We need to calm down, guys. Back in the transfer spot. Everybody's safe. Top 11, but Garrett wants that win in the Radius house car.
Oh, look at the
transfer spot. They're side by side to the line.
Baldeck to the inside. Not going to be able to do it. Peter Bennett got it by inches. By inches. What a race. What a race back to the line between Brett Baldeck and Peter Bennett. Bennett is going to get it. Oh, my goodness. That was dramatic as we had the leaders nearly wrecking each other for a worthless win. That's good racing right there. See, we just needed one lap. That's it.
Love it.
What a crowd. I mean, Steven Azeni worked his way to 14th. I mean, close but no cigar for Brett Murphy, Brett Baldeck. I mean, congratulations, Peter Bennett. Unbelievable run, side by side, 3 wide, coming to the line for the transfer spot.
That was a great drive and a great finish, and I think now we can take a look at the final results here for our first race of the evening. As Garrett Smithley is going to burn it down on the front straightaway, rightfully so. So as Garrett Smithley taking home the win, Connor Horn in second, Jake Poulin in third, Jordan Harley in fourth, John Gorlinski fifth, Mitchell Hunt in sixth, Barrett Polomus in seventh, Aaron McEcker in eighth, Alonzo Morales ninth, Marshall Gable in 10th, and Peter Bennett gets that 11th and final transfer position.
Baldeck, man, heartbreaking.
I mean, what an underdog.
Steven Azeni, Dustin Ping, Branson Cogan, Philip Bush, Christian Challenger. I mean, he had the speed. He got taken out in that wreck with the lap cars. That was just unfortunate. And again, as he was coming back through, Christian Hawley, Kyle Little, Dave Sanders, Josh Cully, lots of drivers that have come out here, and they gave us their time, and hopefully they had fun with this and learned a thing or two.
Yeah, absolutely. We see the rest of the guys as they scroll through there, but Landon, we got the winner in chat here. Let's talk to him.
Garrett Smithley, Landon Castle here in the booth. What a win in the Radius house car. You raced extremely aggressive on that last lap. I mean, did you have a little confidence in your second place competitor that he wouldn't wreck you?
Listen, I told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be happy to finish top 11. And then, what happens is you put your helmet on and you lose your brain. That's what race car drivers do. So that's what happened. And I said, you know what? I led this whole thing. I'm going to be heartbroken if I don't get it. But it was good. We came 3 wide to the finish, which, I mean, I would expect nothing less. I think it was the best finish. I guess I'm a little biased, but I feel like this is the best finish to one of the prelims that I've seen. Watched all of them yesterday, streamed the whole thing. Weight off my shoulders. Now let's go to work for qualifying.
Yeah, Garrett. I mean, I got to tell you, selfishly, when I saw you going up there, I thought, does he not even want to run the next round? Does he not want to go through the work involved? I mean, now you got to build a setup. You got to spend all this time on your car. So I thought, does he not even want to do that?
I thought about it, and I saw that car coming on the outside, and then I saw the car on the inside, and I was like, you know what, this probably wasn't the smartest thing. But here we are. We're gonna lick the stamp. We're gonna send it. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I guarantee that I won because of my suit. I was incredibly inspired by you guys in the booth. I got my suit. I got my tie. I wore the whole thing for the whole race, and I believe that's why I won.
Solid
No,
strategy.
the suit definitely powered you to the win. I will go ahead and say that, Garrett. Well done. Nice job. Beautiful looking race car. You got the suit on. The tie needs a little work. That's a little sloppy, my friend.
Well, I tied it myself. I do have a couple zip ups, but they didn't look as good as this one. You do what you got to do. But shout out to Radius. This is my second time in the Radius house car. The first time didn't go as well. This time I got onto victory lane. Even though it doesn't mean anything, we are at least in the qualification for the big show. So excited about that. Shout out to you guys for putting this deal on. I mean, Landon. I think you and Parker, you guys are becoming the Humpy Wheelers of iRacing promotion. It's awesome to see. Josh, of course, David up in the booth. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Really happy to be part of it.
Thanks, Garrett.
Buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here. Thanks for being
Congrats,
here.
man.
That was awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome stuff. That was your winner of the fifth prelim, the first tonight, Garrett Smithley. And from him, we're going to bring in the man who just got in on the other end of it in the transfer spot all the way from across the pond, my Burton Kligerman Esports teammate, Peter Bennett. You transferred in. Congratulations, man. Way to go.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's 2 a.m. here now.
Well, I think the bath helped you out. What do you think?
Chat didn't help me out. I wasn't watching. I was completely focused on the race.
No, your bath.
Oh, the bath. I was going to say the bath helped me out. Yeah, definitely.
So talk us through that last lap. How nervous were you coming to that restart? You got a great restart, but then down into 3 and 4, that I think it was Baldeck started to get a run on you, and coming to the line, you guys were side by side.
Yeah, I started to drift up coming over towards the finish line. I was incredibly nervous because I've avoided maybe three wrecks already. I picked up a little bit of damage, and I just wanted to block Baldeck, and yeah, it was a close one, but it was incredibly stressful, especially when that last caution came out. We literally just made it into the top 11, and I genuinely nearly passed out after my celebration on stream, just from the celebration. So and then obviously we had one to green, and it was just bring it home. We got a good start. Baldeck, it seemed like he dropped behind a little bit, but he was just prepping himself, getting the run on me. And I had my live spotter telling me to block, so I didn't block too hard. I had half car on him, and yeah, we stuck it. We got it, boys.
Awesome. Whew. Yeah. Great job, man. Really great job. I got some good news for you too. You know, when we go to qualifying rounds here now, it will be a random draw, but you could get an early one, which would mean you don't have to stay up so late.
I don't mind. I had a couple of hours sleep, and I didn't even realize it was 2 a.m. My heart rate is 140 at the moment, so yeah, it's as good as morning for me.
Awesome. Well, great job, bud. Thanks for coming in here. We'll see you in qualified.
Thank you guys for setting it up. Appreciate it.
Way to go, Pete.
See you later, boys.
That was great. What a finish, Parker. Oh my gosh, I love it.
We needed something good. We needed one of those. We needed
That's
it.
right.
We knew it was possible.
Yeah,
Maybe we need to just come down on him.
That is one of our underdog stories, I think.
Absolutely. We're going to be keeping an eye on him. Obviously, he's got to switch gears now. I mean, he's got a setup to build. He's got to work on single car runs. You don't know what the weather's going to be. He doesn't know what his draw is going to be for qualifying. Qualifying in the sim next week is going to start around 10 or 11 a.m. So those first, 10, 15 cars are going to have an advantage in first round qualifying. There will be a little bit of rubber building up over the course of the qualifying session. So the later cars will benefit from that. But once you get to noon, 1 o'clock, we have 88 cars to qualify one at a time. It's going to get hot and slick. But we got another race going on. Let's get ready for this thing. Parker, we got another stacked field. We keep saying they're stacked fields, but it's one right after the next.
Are stacked. I mean, these races are just full of talent, full of some of the best in iRacing, some of the real world racers out there. So what we got here, David, we got Ryan Truex, who's in the hot tub time machine, right? Is the he's always got Marquis Spas on there. You got to give a shout out to that. Our Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte racing in this one in race number 6. So we also watch him. He's probably got the most experience in these this kind of car. Wouldn't you think, Landon?
Yeah, absolutely. He goes far back. He's a sim racing OG, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got, the 4-time eNASCAR Series champion, Ray Alfala. He's the venerable Jimmy Johnson of iRacing in a lot of ways. And then Malik Ray and Brandon Cattell from the eNASCAR Series as well. So this one's stacked of eNASCAR stars. That's going to make it even tougher for any of these other guys that don't have that World Championship license to try and get through with having 3 of them in the field.
Parker, I was thinking about the sim car. You were talking about the real car. Bobby was. I know. I wasn't even thinking about that. Bobby was. He might have been in the Firecracker for 119 days. I know Terry was. I think Bobby was maybe a little bit later. I'll have to look that up. Chat, maybe help me out with that one. But we've also got. We've got some big ones in here. Obviously, Eddie Kerner won the LCQC in this race. So obviously, and also shout out to Dylan Gooden, who's in this race driving the Castle Motors house car, my family business back in Iowa. So Dylan's a good friend of the stream.
Love to see it. It's all about those connections. Yeah, some heavy hitters here. Let's take a look at the full field as the way they'll start here. 42 cars strong. They'll be led to the green flag by the man you mentioned earlier, Malik Ray, driving for Joe Gibbs. And to his outside is going to be the man from Clint Boyer Racing, also in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, Brandon Cattell. So 2 very fast fellows up on the front row. Will Cooley will come from that 3rd position. Eddie Kerner, as you mentioned, the winner of the LCQC, there in 4th. Kyle Trudell in 5th. Brennan Merzda in 6th. Jared Ickes in 7th. Travis Brown, Moonhead. Keep an eye on Travis. He was talking on social media about big, meaty moves here tonight. He'll be coming from the 8th position. Dylan Gooden in the 9th spot, and Justin McDuff will round out the top 10.
Move on to John Kinder there on the inside of row 6. Johnny Thomas on the outside of row 6. Ted Lorson, Billy Rowley there. Gavin J. Jones, Aaron Roth, Will Weber, Keith Jeffrey rounding out row 9. And as we head back here, Bobby Labonte, Hall of Famer himself. Landon, just remember, he did race in real life. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. Thomas Moose, Stephen Hill, Kyle Pokafree, Sean A. Williams, and Nick Olson rounding out there in the row 12.
Thank you, Parker. We've got Todd Smith, Aaron Prill, Matthew Groh, Michael Holmgier in row 14, Gilles Chatelain in row 15 with Ryan Truex. And I'm going to show some respect to Ryan Truex and say his name properly. Chase Angle, David Hensley in row 16.
Yes, indeed. Chuck Johnson there coming from the 33rd position. Travis Furby in 34th. Fred Masters, 35th. Caleb Fosnaugh in 36th. Michael Massey, 37th. 4-time Ray Alfala way back there in 38th. Boy, he's got a lot of ground to make up. That is surprising. We saw Overland start way back there in the pack last night. Now his Slip Angle Motorsports teammate back there as well. Joe Lusty, 39th. Jason Skeen in 40th. Jason Eisenhower, 41st. And another one from the Burton Kligerman Esports contingent, Donnie Strauss, will start 42nd and last here tonight in the second INFRA Challenge 100. Another 11 drivers fighting to get in to next week's qualification process. With 42 on the starting grid, Parker, and only 11 making it, you know what's about to happen here. But I would say if you look top to bottom, talent-wise, and just based it off of iRating, there are some big names in this field.
There is, but I mean, Ray Alfala, I don't know what happened in qualifying there. I saw some people in the chat were saying F in the chat for Ray Alfala because he's so far back. I mean, he has his work cut out for him, but we saw Colin
Parker, I've got a report here on Ray Alfala. So Ray is driving on a totally different rig tonight than normal. So I don't know if he had to jump in late, didn't get enough practice, but we're going to be watching him close because he might have to be getting used to his car in real time.
It's interesting.
Wow, lots to keep an eye on there. Lot to keep an eye on there. For Ray Alfal, one to keep an eye on for sure. But pace cars off. Big green egg, green flag in the air. Malik Ray down and away. Cattell in second. Didn't quite get the same jump, but he's going to get a good bump from behind from Eddie Kerners. They're going to go single file. Kerner will slot in front of Will Cooley. These guys nice and organized up front. Single file for the first 5 cars. 2 wide going into one between Merzda and Travis Brown, along with Jared Ickes.
This is more like we saw last night. They get single file right off the bat. A lot of drivers fighting for the bottom. They just want to get down that bottom lane and ride, especially in the top 5, top 7 cars. We see, oh, wow, they're a little bit more packed up as they get further back, jockeying for position.
Travis Brown sideways down the backstretch, had to go underneath the yellow line, dropped about 5 or 6 spots, moved Dylan Gooden up the grid a couple spots as well.
Was that a Moonhead meaty move?
That was a meaty move.
The wrong direction. The wrong direction. That was a meat-free vegan move right there from Travis Brown, if I would have to say so myself.
That was good. Well done.
I try. You could ask James Pike. Sometimes I come up with a good one every now and again. But you know what? While these guys seem to be sorted in single file for right now, if we can get a camera on the 86 of Stephen Hill, video game fans rejoice when you see a scheme like this on this car, bringing back some really fond memories. Stephen Hill is with that paint scheme, going all the way back to, oh no, I just cursed him. He's sideways in the corner. He saved it. There's the commentator's curse. Great job by Stephen Hill in that 86 car, but he's going to lose some positions there. But that classic paint scheme takes you way back in the Hall of Fame video days. As caution flag is going to fly here, boys. And it's not going to be for him. It's going to be for Fred Masters and the 127 of Chuck Johnson as well. But that started in front of them with Chase Engel, I believe.
We're off to a good start. It was a little hairy. It was a little airy in places, but they were keeping it together, keeping it straight. But yeah, we'll have to see on the replay what happened here. I also got to point out real quick, Ray Alfala up to 29th, 9 positions in 3 laps. He's flying through the field. Whoa! Oh, so close.
Chuck Johnson. It's so hard to, that he wanted to just grab wheel to the right, but Parker, how do you turn hard to the right when there's a wall there? You just want to ease it a little bit to the right.
No, that's just being in the wrong place, the wrong time. Nothing you can do there. I mean, you say you think when you watch it back, I had all the time in the world to respond. But when you're in the heat of the moment, that's a split-second decision that's got to be the right one, and everything's got to go your way, and it just didn't.
You know what happens to me a lot of times in the simulator, Parker, is when I get in a wreck and I go back and watch the replay, I realize that I had more room than I thought I did. And I don't know if that's a monitor setting or if it's just me not being used to the sim as much, looking for the feel of a real car. But I've had some accidents where I go back and I'm just like, man, I had more room. I could have been closer to the wall or closer to the bottom and given someone more space.
I've never been in an accident in racing that was my fault. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah. So I get it. You look back and you're like, hey, maybe that guy could have done something different, but it absolutely wasn't my fault in any way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's part of racing is, it really never being your fault. If you're not truly
Always
a driver, I guess.
No,
that's right.
Not at all. Not at all. Never our fault.
I mean, all right. So I don't have the real world racing experience that you guys have. I only have it from this side on the sim, but yeah, you're not wrong. It's never my fault. It's always somebody else's fault.
Well,
David, first of all, David, do not undercut yourself or anybody that doesn't have real world racing experience, because this racing, it works the same. The fundamentals are the same. That's what's amazing about sim racing, is that it's not like playing Madden where the motion to throw a football is this in the game. This is fundamentally the same thing. You're just lacking the forces on your body. And so the characters, the personalities, the not your fault, all that stuff, it's identical between iRacing and the real world.
All All right, fair enough. So basically what you're saying, Landon, is that I have the same qualifications to judge this as a licensed NASCAR driver then?
You absolutely do.
Okay.
And
All right.
you and every person on Twitter with a Twitter account.
Yes. If you want to judge a NASCAR driver, all you have to do is go on Twitter, sign up for a new account, get a password, have a unique email address.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves with Twitter. That's tough out there. We don't want to give that much power, I think, to the Twitter universe, to be perfectly honest with you.
Hey, David.
Sir.
If you look at the scoring pylon right now, there is one red box on the scoring pylon in the transfer spot. That is Aaron Roth with a rookie license running 11th right now. I think we found our driver to root for.
Think so.
Oh, I'm sure we just cursed the hell out of him now that we're talking about him. Let's hope he can hold on to it. You saw what I did. You saw what I did to poor Stephen Hill with his Daytona USA. I don't know if we actually ever got that up on the screen. I really love that paint scheme as a guy who played a lot of Daytona USA. Seeing that old Hornet high class paint scheme, man, just brings a smile to my face as an old gamer. I think I'm old, but in any event. A great job for Aaron Roth right now as the rookie license holder in that 11th position. And, long way to go still in this thing. A lot of things can unfold, but you know what? Strange things happen in racing. You guys know this.
Well, this is what we've been looking for. All right, so people might. I've actually seen some of the chat amongst the drivers. They keep saying, "Hey, why don't you basically not allow a certain level of iRating in these races and that sort of thing?" But we talked about it last night. Sim racing allows us to do something that you can't do in real motorsports, and that is allow anyone the chance and an equal footing to start at, to have a chance at a huge prize. And that's what we have here. Just like the U.S. Open in golf or tennis, you can be just a complete amateur, show up and race against some of the best as we get the green flag.
Big green egg, green flag back in the air. Barney doing his thing, waving that flag as we ride on board as well in that transfer spot cam with the rookie driver, Aaron Roth. So you get a couple of different perspectives here. Again, single file throughout the leaders. They just want to go, man. They just want to ride for a little bit. They understand they've been in these positions before, that you got to get laps in. You got to just ride, but it's everyone behind them that's a little more anxious right now. Still single file, pretty patient.
Yeah, I like to see this. I like to see the single file. Let's get it, some green flag laps on the belts. They have the tires to wear out a little bit. You start to see where they're going, start to see where, that your car's handling is going, what lanes are working, how the track is taking rubber, all those things. That's what we want to see. And this was actually a very clean start as we watched the transfer cam. Aaron Roth falling back. No, come on, the rookie. You got to keep up, man.
Just got to keep it together. Don't get too high off of turn 4 now that we got about 6 laps on our tires. The temperatures are going to start coming up. I don't want to see my right sides too much higher than those white dashed marks through the banking there. As you can see, Malik Ray with a big arc into the corner in front of Brandon Cattell.
Everyone, this is I almost hate to say it. This is the most patient we've seen any grouping yet in these prelim races. I'm not surprised to see it. I will say I had high hopes for this group, and they seem to be working really, really well. And even behind them, even though it's a little bit of a mad dash, around that 15th, 16th position, Sean Williams, Billy Rowley, Gavin Jones, all in a wad right there as Rowley's hard into the wall. He's going to take a few with him. Spoke too soon. There's a wreck on the front straightaway. Going through the grass, coming back up on track is Thomas Moose. And making moose tracks, and he gets absolutely annihilated by Caleb Fosnaugh. Oh, my God. Caleb flipping through the grass on the front straightaway. Yikes.
That was right in front of our commentary booth here on the front stretch, and that was insane. One car was coming up through the grass on the start-finish line. Another car came through and absolutely demolished him. That's unfortunate, but that was really happened when we've seen a lot of the issues, and that is off turn 4 landing. These cars, just as you've mentioned, it gets a couple laps on the tires. We get a replay here. See, I think that's Rowley that was up in the wall, just lost it, and that's what these cars do. They get that huge slide. The only thing you can do is back off. It's the only way to stop it.
Yeah, it's really tough. Billy is really knows what he's doing on the IndyCar side. Indianapolis Sky, organizer of the Fake 500. Good friend of E-Racer. Tough transition into these old 87 Cup cars, kind of like AJ Foyt back in the day. Although does have some pretty good success, but in 87 Foyt did struggle in these Cup cars. So maybe for an Indy expert, there's some comparison there.
There's something about the 87 cars. They don't agree with the Indy car guys.
It's hard to go. I mean, actually, I was just listening to my words as they come out. I was about to say it's hard to go 200 miles an hour. They were going plenty fast in the Indy cars. I don't think it's the speed that's the problem, Parker. These cars just have no downforce and not much grip. Oh man, I'm gonna get roasted for that one. How many races do we have left? We're losing. Where's that Carpenter?
Oh gosh, we gotta keep. We're not even at the halfway point, boys. We gotta keep it together.
Like, yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. 50 miles an hour in those Indy cars.
For Ron Capps.
Well, I mean, full disclosure, there's a key ingredient that I'm missing, that I wasn't smart enough to think about. That I think for next week's broadcast, I think I'm just gonna have to get on that plan. It's a special dietary plan that these two are on that I'm not, but I'm gonna change that. I reckon I'm gonna change that.
Yeah, we're having. We're happy here. In the chat, I've the chat. Where is
that kind of stream?
It sounds like. But did Bobby Labonte get wrapped up in that as well?
I thought.
Let's see. Labonte is currently scored in the.
Oh no.
He's in 40th. Yeah, I think he had to take a reset there. Let's take a look at it. I'm gonna watch this, and it looks like he got caught up in it a little bit, but he didn't really sustain that much damage to his Penrose machine. A little bit of right front damage, but that was about it. So I think he probably just came down, realized he lost all the track position, pitted, but it looks like he didn't take that fast repair, which was a good idea.
Man, that's tough on when to take it and when not. I mean, I found that I struggled to get through the field in the practice races coming from 30th on back if I didn't have a clean race car. As you see, Bobby Labonte, he was wrapped up in that 44. So not a ton of damage there on Bobby's car. It is going to slow him down a little bit though, and so this is definitely an attrition game for him. And the problem is you think that you want to save your reset, but when are you going to take it? Are you going to take it with 5 minutes to go in the race when you don't want to give up track position? It's risky, but my bet is to take the reset when you need it, so you have a clean car, and just keep chugging along. Keep it in one piece. If you get wrecked again, then so be it. It's a 40-lap race, 40 minutes.
On the opposite side of the spectrum there, we just got to give a shout-out quickly to Ryan Truex and his hot tub time machine. He's actually up to 19th after that latest wreck, so he's moved up, I believe, 11 spots in this race. You see him there on the screen, right? That's a beautiful car. Love to see it. That's an amazing look there. He was actually able to empty. He didn't put the hot tub water in this time, Landon, as we've seen him attempt to do before with that hot tub time machine. But I think he's in a really good spot. I've felt like as long as you're in the top 20, you have at least 2 or 3 laps of green, you can get yourself to the top 11. So being around 19th, maybe that's the cutoff of that. Maybe it's more like top 19. You can get to the top 11 with a slick couple moves on a couple laps.
Yeah, I mean, you're just counting on a couple green laps. A big run down the backstretch, Parker, can give you at least 2 or 3 positions if you get the right momentum and the right gap going into turn 1 and a push. That push. And I'd love to hear from the chat, folks that have driven this car, maybe drivers that drove last night, and you, Parker. I feel like this car is one of the best cars on iRacing that simulates the help of a push in drafting. Cup car, you don't get much of a push. You suck up to people. Where this one, you can actually draft with your mirror like we do in real life.
That's a great point, and it's actually funny because you can bump really well with this car. And David, I mean, feel free to chime in. You've had a ton of experience in iRacing, but it feels like you actually. The reason you and I might feel it, Landon, is because in real life, you get it's like there's a feel for bumping a car. And for whatever reason, this car, you really feel that bump and you really understand that push and the momentum it gives you.
You said it perfect. I don't need to add anything to that. I think you nailed it right on the head. What the hell do I know? Big green flag back in the air. No, I think you're 100% right that these cars have something definitely unique and special to them that you don't quite get in any of the other cars, which I think is what makes them so popular. But as we get back underway again, another nice big jump for the first 7 cars or so. But again, single file, such a far cry from what we saw in the previous race. And trust me, I'm not complaining about that. I'm quite happy to say that is the case as they go single file down the back straightaway. Let's give you an update on some of the bigger names that we talked about in this race, how they progressed along. Donovan Strauss, remember, started last in this field in that Ventrac machine, now currently scored in the 22nd position as we ride on board with Aaron Roth in that 13th position. So Donnie Strauss has jumped up from 42nd to 22nd. Ryan Truex in 19th. Ray Alfala in that 30th position. We've seen him higher up than that, but he fell back a little bit there. So keeping our eyes on some of these guys that we've talked about at the top of the show, boys.
It's just tough to come from the back.
And we're on board there with Aaron Roth landing, and he's the rookie that was in the transfer position, and he's still fighting for that transfer spot tooth and nail right now, and he's doing an excellent job. Oh, he did get really loose off of 2.
It's a lot of good racing all through the field here. They're definitely not fully single file. As Aaron Roth is just, wisely taking that bottom. I don't think you, especially in that 10th, 11th place, I don't think you want to be suckered into going up to the top. I think that you can't trust anybody. You're not going to get any help. And if you try to go around somebody around the outside, the guy behind you is just going to fill that gap on the inside.
Oh, look at this. We had a big wiggle right there out of Justin McDuff going into 1. He saves it. Roth chops down in front. There's contact, and around goes the 89 of Sean Williams. That's not good news in front of the field. We got 3 spinning off of turn 2. Oh, my God. Look at that. Who is that? That was David Hensley skyrocketing, landing on all 4 tires. Caution flag flies. Oh, my God. Where was he going?
That's going to collect. These guys are going to need some resets, maybe even a toe.
That was the big one.
Oh, my God.
Boys. That was the big one.
Like, we need to check that 13 for a hung throttle or something. I don't know. He went full yeet on through there. He didn't really seem to mind the fact that there was cars spinning in front of him, and he absolutely did 2, 3, 4 backflips on his own. Wow, that was something else. As we lost a few drivers in that one for sure.
Oh, and that's just in the air.
Full yeet. You'll have to explain that one to me, David. I'm not into that lingo, but I get it.
Well, then I don't need to explain it if you get it.
Well, no, I think
if you get it, you get it. You get it.
Oh my God. The onboard. Oh, wow.
That's full yeet right there. That is exactly full yeet.
Got it. Now I get it. No explanation necessary.
That is oh my God.
It seemed like Sean in the 89 had he'd got his nose up underneath and made contact, and unfortunately for him, he ended up paying the price for it.
Now, some people asking if that counts towards the Ventrac blowover count. No, because that is obviously a rocket launch. So we're not counting that in the Ventrac blowover count. You actually have to physically be blown over by the wind or the air going under.
Not launched.
Yeah, not launched into the air.
That was.
Do we have a sponsor that wants to come for the launch count?
Yeah, SpaceX or NASA. We need one.
The SpaceX launch count, Parker.
Launch count.
We'll keep up with the count
on the phone.
We'll keep up with the launch counter, and if a sponsor wants to come on board and build us a graphic, we'll talk to them.
Yeah, down.
Oh my goodness.
Always a salesman. ABC.
Those are the kind of wrecks right there, guys, that they make me laugh. They really do. I mean, it sucks when you're in it, but when you just sit back and you watch it, you can't help but laugh a little bit because it's just it's really funny looking, but B, it's just like he just didn't slow down. He just kept his foot in it. It was like, I'm driving through this. It didn't work. It was great.
I mean, it's hard to hit the brakes in these cars, though. They don't stop. And how much of slowing down for a wreck, especially when you're in 20th, 25th, are you looking in the mirror as much as you are figuring out how much to slow down? You're trying not to get run over, let alone hit the guy in front of you.
Yeah, that's tough, and it's hard, when you're basically coming off that corner, you're suddenly seeing cars go everywhere, and you're trying to just get yourself the safest position possible, and then a car flies in front of you like that one, and then you're launching in the air. But I think
Parker, we got my boy Dylan on screen.
Oh, hey, it's your boy.
It's Dylan. He's in the Castle Motors car. Well, this is the Castle Motors car, and he's running 7th right now. Come on, cameras, let's see this thing. Get us a close up on
zoom in on
that 75. Yeah, zoom in on the 75.
His money's worth.
He looks good. Yeah, I gotta get this. My family spot. There it is. Hey, Castle Motors, your friend in the car business, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Wow, that's a classic scheme. Dylan runs on Tuesday night.
True sales.
Yeah, that's right.
I like it.
Yeah,
I love it. Thank you, Dylan. Good luck, buddy.
Did your race car look like that growing up?
It didn't, and I wasn't even born in 1987.
Well, no, I knew you weren't born in 87. I meant like the paint scheme.
No, it's not.
Kart? No. Okay.
No, that's actually kind of a throwback rendition of the modern paint scheme that Dylan runs of Castle Motors. So he's got some of that red, white, and blue going, and a little black on the bottom.
Well, give us the tagline one more time.
Castle Motors, your friend in the car business.
Bam. Nailed it. Nailed it, David.
Taking a look at social media here, guys. I think Full Yeet is about to start trending along with hashtag Firecracker 400. Colton Salick checks in with quoting, he went full yeet on through there, quoting me with the hashtag Firecracker 400. So again, if all you guys in chat, whether you're on Facebook or on Twitch, wherever you're joining us from, thank you so much. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of tonight's INFRA Challenge 100s leading into the Firecracker 400 on July 1st. But if you want to get involved, pop in chat, say hello, but you can also jump on Twitter as well using the hashtag Firecracker 400 and possibly the new hashtag Full Yeet. To get involved with the conversation, let us know where you're watching from, set up any pictures or thoughts that you have. We're keeping an eye on that, and we certainly appreciate you guys being a part of the show. We've got polls running as well. It looks like we had a new poll as we get our big green egg green flag back in the air. It looks like we had a poll for who had the best necktie, and in a landslide, I pulled down the win with 60% of the vote. Landon in a distant second, and Parker barely registered on the board as we go back under yellow flag. And Landon, you're not going to like this one bit. Don't even look at it.
No, not happy. We don't want to see these accordion wrecking on restarts. I think that you're responsible for your own front bumper, and it's just like driving on the road. If you rear end somebody, it's your fault. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm as disappointed. I'm frustrated. Like the drivers that aren't causing these. You just get frustrated in this situation. As we look at Brandon Cattell with that Barstool Sports scheme on that 14 car, but I don't get it, Landon. I feel like there's some point if you're in this race, you're like, look, I just don't want to be the one that caused a wreck next. I just don't want to be. So I'm just going to do everything I can not to cause a wreck. And yet here we are, just wreck after wreck on restarts. Like, we're not even up to speed yet. Come on, boys.
Listen to what I wish the drivers could listen to the octave that Parker was just sent into.
Yes.
You don't hear that octave very often, and he's been pushed to that. That is frustrating.
I'm seeing in the chat, they're saying I'm going to blow a gasket. I'm past it. We're leaking all. I'm running on 6 cylinders at this point.
Yeah, Blue Evie just dropped in the
champ here.
Oh yeah, there's Ray Alfala in the throwback virtual racing school ride.
It's a sharp looking vehicle right there.
He's been inching his way up through here in 21st. He's got a little bit of time left, a few more restarts left or some green flag racing. So just to give you an idea, 21st is close enough. Obviously, Bobby Labonte, 25th now. That's a good looking ride. 21st is close enough that I think that you'll end up maybe a second and a half behind the transfer spot on a clean restart. So you could pick your way through there. He might need a little more attrition. That's the 10 spots is tough to pick up though.
Yeah. I mean, hey, really hard to catch, really hard to pick those up under caution. So we really need this Blue Emu onboard cam to remove itself from the pace car, because the pace car will pit and not come out again, hopefully, and attach this Blue Emu onboard cam to any other car in the field as we run green. That's I hope will happen here.
We got Blue Emu in the chat right now, so we've seen the blue birds in the chat. Blue Emu dropping in.
Big thank you to Blue Emu. Big thank you to them. Another check on Twitter here. I'm keeping an eye on the hashtag Firecracker 400 as people continue to use it. William Byron Esports checked in with that hashtag, showing off the car that Byron's going to be driving here coming up later tonight. Radius checked in, quoting Garrett Smithley with the lick the stamp and sent it in his post-race interview. Obviously, they're very happy. They saw their car go to victory lane as well.
I just got a text from I just got a text from Radius. They're raising the W flag at Radius World Headquarters right now. So
awesome.
Big celebrations going on. They'll be going late into the evening with that one.
Ron Capps might win the best tweet so far right now, guys.
That's pretty good.
Some money put up for an iRacing event equals, and it's a plow going through a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's what they've been doing.
That makes sense. Blake McCandless with another banger here. Blake McCandless, Mr. F4 Speed on Twitter, with an accurate lip reading. Again, a picture of the three of us at Landon Castle. Purchasing gold is the best way to hedge against inflation with your IRA or eligible 401k. Clickerman,
That's right.
Go on. Shieldhouse smirks.
Please,
I ain't falling for this guy.
Please.
Well done.
Please, I need to know more.
Buy
You
some
saying I would
Bitcoin.
get rich quick?
No. Get rich slow.
Oh, even better.
It's a hedge. It's just a hedge.
Can I get just enough to beat the inflation rate?
Oh my gosh, you guys are killing it on Twitter. We really appreciate it. Keep it up. This is fun. I love watching this. Seeing the creativity you guys have with all the tweets and all of that. Thank you. Keep it going. Keep that conversation rolling. Really, really fun. And we're going to continue to do that. It's great to see how much people are enjoying this, boys. I know for me, it's fun to watch, but everyone watching as well, they're really enjoying, really getting into it.
I'm with you. This is I know there's been a lot of caution, but I've enjoyed my time with you, David, and Landon. This has been a lot of fun.
We got a long ways to go, Parker.
We got a long way to go. I'm going to lose this jacket pretty soon because I'm getting warm. Getting a little warm.
I'm not going to be the first to take it off tonight. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm waiting for one of you to
all do it together?
No, yeah, I got it, guys. I'll lead the way.
Let's all do it together. Okay.
It's hot. Yeah.
No, but see, I don't have a wireless headset. Oh,
no.
This is tricky. All right, well, I'm off cam, so it's fine.
They're like,
Big
we
green
gotta
egg,
go off
green
cam.
flag back in the air. Let's get some racing in, boys. What do you say as we're getting undressed on the broadcast, but still within the terms of service? We're okay. Twitch will not drop the ban hammer on us, but we might drop the ban hammer on some of these drivers if they don't get these restarts squared away. Still a mess in the back.
We're single
Fortunately,
file
we're still green.
and that's the positive thing. We're looking at the transfer spot cam here by Trans Service. They're single file, so if we can stay like this, I got hope. They're a little bit more spread out in the back. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Still a race for the lead. We talked about upfront aggression, Parker. It's a little tame. Brandon Cattell looking to the outside of Malik Ray, though. He's kind of a 6-car.
They're pros, man.
I can't count 8 or 9 car breakaway here.
Oh, we got one spinning off of 4. That was disgusting. Who was that? That was Jason Skeen spinning like a top out of turn 4, and he gets absolutely destroyed by Sean Williams again. Oh, no. The 89 cars had no luck tonight. Oh, my gosh.
That's a rough one. Morgan's not going to be happy about that. Driving the 89. It's just that top, man. It's not much grip out there. And when your car starts getting tight, you cannot stay in the gas. As Bobby Labonte slips through.
Yikes.
He does have the right sponsor on board there, Valvoline. We do love to see that. Just not that's not using the Valvoline performance to the best of effect. Obviously, that thing's got a lot of power, the Valvoline underhood. So,
well, the Kendall car was also involved in that, Parker. So the 2 oil cars that really got hurt there.
Yes.
It looks like he just caught the apron. This is about the time you need to start just letting out of the gas. It's not going to turn at this point.
So we got a developing situation here actually with Ray Alfala, and if we can get this on replay on this restart, he restarted back in like the 21st position and was about 15th before they even got really to the start finish line. He passed a ton of cars, and there is a lot of chatter right now from the competitors about that move, and a lot of people are not really happy about it.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that one. I'm sure the officials are as well. That should be against the rules at this time, but we'll see what the final verdict is.
Yeah, I mean, that was like straight out of Days of Thunder, past half the field before.
I wondered how he got up there. First, for a while, he was 21st, and then suddenly he's 14th. So that was miraculous. Unless he,
6 spots in one lap.
Yeah,
all right. They slapped the penalty on him. They just gave him an end to longest line penalty for that move. So he'll go to the back, but it was fun to watch. It was a good attempt. I mean, hey, you got to try it, right?
Yeah. Hey, if he got away with it, great. But thankfully, we have some great officials here, V-Racer, and they didn't let that get past them. So we don't let
no shenanigans here.
No, none.
Well, we've had shenanigans, but nothing like that. That was our first real example, Landon, of gaming the system. I've heard you say that phrase a few times over the past 2 nights, gaming the system, trying to eliminate that. I think that was our first real glimpse of gaming the system.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because iRacing won't black flag you there. But our rules do say drivers must stay in line on a restart until passing the start-finish line. Drivers who move out of line before the start-finish line may be black flagged. Drivers must maintain pacing speed and a reasonable, consistent distance to the car in front of you. So that's a tough one.
And see, the reason we did that, David, is that, yes, back in the day, you'd see them all get up next to the wall, and they were allowed to basically get to the outside of the other cars until they'd all restarted the wall. But what we found is when you did that, you still had a lot of basically the courting effect, etc. So this was an attempt to try and clean some of that up and just allow them to get going. But obviously, it's that allowed for them so all on the bottom. It allowed an opening for Ray to go to, and it wasn't really within the rules to be allowed to do that.
Nope, and Ray has brought his run to an end with that as well. He's disconnected from the server, and that'll be the end of the run for time. But he sure made it exciting before he went out. He went out with a bang, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah. Hey, tried it, went for it. I can't fault him.
No, you can't fault him.
That does move Ryan Truex up to 15th, though. So he's steadily moved through the field. May fight, he's going to be in a fighting position here for 11th once we get back going green.
Yeah, he's right in there. Truex 15th, as you said. Stephen Hill in that Daytona USA car there in 14th. Nick Olson, haven't talked about Nick yet really tonight, in 13th. Aaron Roth, and he's our rookie there that we're all cheering for, in 12th, holding it down as we ride on board with him. And you see Keith Jeffrey, who's right ahead of him. So that's really the pinch point, if you will. We'll keep an eye on that. But, again, this race has been great, minus the restart buffoonery. Yeah, I said buffoonery. But aside from that, the racing has been outstanding.
When we are under green, yes. We've seen that both nights. Last night in the final race of the night had a lot of green flag running compared to the others, and it was awesome. It was great racing. The cars are sliding around. The drivers able to get huge runs. It's just, we got to get past that restart and, get these drivers to clean things up. But we expected this. I can tell you that I know for a fact the Firecracker 200 and 400 will not be like this. So I just have a feeling that will not be the case. They'll be open setup. The drivers can work on that. They can have differing amounts of downforce, et cetera, and find what they want. And I think things will spread out more, and we'll have a lot of green flag running.
Let's certainly hope so. As we get ready for the restart here, pace car's going to go back to pit road. Malik Ray is going to control the field for this big green egg. Green flag getting down to it here. We're starting to run out of time. Again, another race where we won't quite hit the lap counter, but single file, huge gap back to third. Eddie Kerner, who is not really going, but Cattell right on the back bumper of Malik Ray as those two drive away.
Keith Jeffrey there on the transfer cam. I believe is in the position right now for the transfer position, trying to hold off the rookie Aaron Roth. Also, Nick Olson, who's up 11 spots since the start of the race. Wow, it's great racing back there as the leaders start to really separate, especially Malik Ray and Cattell. They're getting away from the field.
Oh, we're going to have contact. Nick Olson and Roth get together. That was a rookie error right there. Oh, well, they're not. Billy Rowley is hard in the outside wall, and I was watching it, and I was getting ready to yell. And Nick Olson absolutely voicing his frustration, rightfully so, as he was down low, and Roth really didn't give him a lot of running room. Kept him on the apron going into 3, and for Olson, really nowhere to go. Has to make that corner, and that's Roth just trying to defend the position in a place where you can't really do that.
Yeah, it was a little tough, and Roth actually kind of surviving it other than the damage that he's got. Looks like his car's been pretty good. Tough break for the rookie, tough break for Olson. I mean, that's just tough. It's tough racing, and you got to remember that you can go below the yellow line. I mean, if a guy's gonna make a move, you got to leave him room.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I can't put that on the fact that he's a rookie making that. I've seen, top line drivers make that same mistake or that same move, but at these speeds, with these cars handling the way that they do, that's never going to work. Parker, would you call that a low percentage move?
Yep, that's what it is, low percentage. We're on the blue onboard with Malik Ray, and there's something about race 2, because race 2 of night 1 last night was kind of like this. It was probably the worst in terms of amount of cautions that we had and least amount of green flag running. And I'm sensing, this race has a similar feel. So there's something about the number 2 race each night that's a little different for whatever reason, even though this one started off with a lot of promise. I'm looking at the timer, though, and we got 3 minutes 15 left right now. Will we get back green? Question.
Is it a hypothetical question, or do you want an answer to it?
Oh, I want an answer. I believe we
Stay
will.
tuned.
Maybe for a lap. Ryan,
if you're Ryan Truex, you want to see it.
Yeah, you want spot out.
If you're Donnie or Truex or anyone right around there, you want to see one. If you're Will Weber or anyone in front of him, you don't want to see a restart. So, because Donnie's going to be full bore. Ryan's going to be on it as well. He's going to be channeling all of that marquee pool and spa power that he can. Oh goodness. And Aaron Roth not very happy himself. John back and forth with Nick Olson. Roth has his own opinion of what exactly happened there. And Olson telling him that in every imaginable universe, he's wrong.
Yeah, that's you can imagine the frustration for the drivers, and especially for Aaron Roth there. I don't think that was directly his fault. And he was doing a
he's
great
racing
job.
hard, man.
Yeah,
he's racing hard.
Job.
He's been in the transfer spot. He's been in contention all night. He put in a lot of practice this week. We've even seen him in the practice races. He put himself in position to have good track position. That rookie license, what does it even mean, Parker? That's what these e-racer races events are about. This is an event. It's not a race. Not going to discriminate against licenses and iRatings. We want to celebrate it. We're not going to put a minimum on any of our entries. We might have different formats. We might have more constellations, more advancing stages. But when we put on events, we want everybody to sign up and enjoy themselves. And I think part of enjoying yourself might be getting reamed by race control every once in a while, or feeling the stress of a transfer spot, because we're not going easy on these guys tonight.
Oh man.
Sometimes a good ass chewing. I can say that, right?
Yeah, who cares?
Okay, sometimes a good ass chewing.
It is the internet.
We'll set you straight. And I know, I mean, I've had my fair share of it when I've been aggressive. Not lately. As I've gotten older, I've mellowed out and not as aggressive. But back in my younger, wilder days as a sim racer, that sounds so stupid.
Younger wild days.
I would catch my fair share of slack from race control or other competitors and all of that. And sometimes you take it to heart, and it's all a learning opportunity. It's all an opportunity to improve, and maybe it was at somebody else's expense, which is unfortunate, but that's racing.
Yep.
Nothing like learning on somebody else's dime, right?
Right.
That's how I've always done it.
It's easy to tell other people how to spend their money, and it's easy to learn at somebody else's expense.
Yeah, with my new financial advisor to my left, I feel very confident in most of my investments.
Buy low and sell high. That's all I can tell you. So
what's going to happen here? The timer's gone 0. We saw this last night. It potentially could be the green checkered.
Yeah, it's
final lap here.
Well, yeah, 1 lap to settle it.
We're racing one
here.
Lap. All right.
Oh boy, one lap dash. Here we go.
Well, look,
Pick
there will be no cautions. So the next flag is the checkered flag. And is that
on the wall? Up in the one.
That's John.
Oh, they're spinning behind him. I think Truex made it through.
Truex is through. Donovan Strauss is through. Stephen Hill is through, but they're catching this slower car off of turn 2. Oh no, Truex get hooked. He gets hooked by Strauss in the outside wall. Collects Hill. Collects Strauss as well. They're all wrecking all over the straightaway. None of them are going to make it into this race. We are looking for that 11th spot. That is Gilles Chatelain. Gilles Chatelain in the 11th position right now with a hungry host of drivers trying to catch him. Matthew Groh is going to be the one trying to chase him down. To the checkered flag, it's going to be Gilles Chatelain. He's going to make it in.
Unbelievable.
Malik Gray spins across the line.
Bobby Labonte's 13th, so close.
Oh, man. Truex was in position, got taken out down the backstretch. Oh.
Yikes. Brandon Cattell is going to take this win, but a lot of drama unfolds, and especially for John Kinder, who was in a position to transfer in. He restarted in that 8th position and got, I don't know, he just got a huge shot in the rear from Brendan Mersda, and it shot Kinder out of the outside wall.
That's a great finish for the meaningless win. We need to see a replay of 11th off of turn 2. Here we go. We're on board here. I don't know who this is. This is Gilles Chatelain.
Yeah, so we're on his onboard. This is what he's going to see.
Oh, and that's Shrek getting hooked.
Yeah.
Just
Moses!
What?
Oh, Moses parted. Wow. We got
Unbelievable.
If we can get another angle of Truex there, I'd like to see who turned him there, because there's Donovan Strauss in there as well. You got turned.
Donnie turned him as they're trying to work their way around John Kinder, who was slow. Truex stayed right on the yellow line. Donnie was on the quarter panel and just hooked him.
And I think Kinder had gotten the wall off of 2, and that's how they ended up where they were. But, devastating for Ryan. Donovan Strauss. Man, they were right there.
That's a tough one. If you're John Kinder, and he was very upset at Brandon Mersda after that, wondering why Mersda gave him the bump for no reason when they were all in, and that set up that whole sequence of events. And you see Truex get hooked there by Strauss, Kinder into the wall, the 86 of Hill into the wall, and it was just chaos behind them. But for Truex, just trying to get around, and he was going to be good, but Strauss not in line. And we saw that a few times last night, guys not in line, and you get on that quarter panel and push, that guy's getting hooked.
We've got Gilles Chatelain in coming into the booth here. Let's see if he wants to talk to us about that finish. Gilles, what on earth did you see coming off of turn 2 on the final lap?
Yeah, thank you. The car was completely toast. I stayed on track. I was waiting for a crash, and it happened. 11th, I think.
We
It's good. Yeah.
we watched your onboard, and I mean, you could see ahead of you the car. You probably didn't even know who it was. That was Ryan Truex, the NASCAR driver, who got hooked by Donovan Strauss. I mean, these are some heavy hitters right in front of you, just taking a dead right into the wall. Did you even know where to go, or did you just? How did you hold on?
No, I said I don't lift flat out. And yeah, it it went good, but yeah, it was fun. I made all the race with Ryan. I think we could have a run in the finish, but yeah, a lot of yellow flags. Yeah.
And Jill, where are you from?
Switzerland.
Switzerland. Are you racing there right now?
Sorry?
Are you racing from Switzerland right now?
Yes, it's 4 a.m.
Wow. How did you find out about this event?
Twitter.
No way. That's awesome. Well, we're really glad to have you, man. That was an incredible drive.
Thank you.
Well, I'd say we look forward to having you in the qualifying rounds, and good luck with making that. It goes open setup, so you're gonna have to start tweaking on that thing.
Yeah, we'll have a big work on the setup, but we will see.
Well, Jill, we'll be watching for you. I know you got to catch your breath, calm down a little bit. You know, maybe have a nightcap before you go to bed. I bet you won't even get to sleep before the sun comes up.
No, but I will do the 24 hours of Le Mans in a few hours, so I will have a little sleep and go on.
Awesome.
Double duty.
Love it.
Amazing.
Love it.
Well, good luck at Le Mans. We're proud to have you, and we're excited to follow you next week.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool right there. Very, very cool. As you look at the finishing results here, the top 11, Brandon Cattell, Malik Ray, Eddie Kerner, Kyle Trudell, Jared Ickes in 5th, Will Cooley, Dylan Gooden makes it in, Brandon Merzda in 8th, Keith Jeffrey 9th, Will Weber in 10th, and the man we just spoke to, Gilles Chatelain in 11th, making it on through. As you see the rest of the results go through on your screen, heartbreak for a lot of guys on there. Bobby Labonte just missing out on it. And you feel for those others involved in that melee on the back straightaway. But what a second race! Good racing, drama at the end. Wow, that was wild.
It was, and man, you know, it's like when we're under green, it's so awesome. So let's just get more green flag running because it's so cool to see.
Sounds really simple. I'll quick check at Twitter. You guys are going to get a kick out of this using the hashtag Firecracker 400. Your good friends Freddie Kraft, the great spotter, checks in and says, "I can't watch Landon Castle and Parker Kligerman look at each other and talk to each other like they are standing next to each other without laughing. I don't know if they're on each other's screens in that direction or not, but it's funny AF." Thank you, Freddie. I don't want to look at him either.
Secret we'll keep to ourselves.
It's good to know. It's funny to know who's out there watching. So shout out to Freddie, everybody out there watching. We appreciate it very much. And again, if you want to get involved in the conversation on social media, on Twitter, use hashtag Firecracker 400. We're keeping an eye on that, and we're seeing a lot of love for Gilles Chatelain. Emily Butler checks in with a Jean Girard gif. Seth Eggert, the Motorsports Rev from Kicking the Tires, checks in with a Moses gif as well. So a lot of love for Gilles. I think everyone was really excited to see him get into that 11th spot.
It was really cool. That's the kind of stories, you know, that we love to see. You know, someone internationally that you wouldn't maybe associate with the NASCAR, you know, racing, and you wouldn't see probably in a real NASCAR race. But here we are, you know, with that ability on iRacing to have anyone around the world join in, and that's what we saw there. And then to be able to advance and beat out some huge names like Ryan Truex, Bobby Labonte, Ray Alfala. I mean, that's an awesome thing to see, and that's what we want to happen. We want to be so inclusive to allow everyone to have the same opportunity. And maybe we got to, as Landon said, make a couple tweaks in terms of maybe how we get to these eventual final cutoff races. But I think it's just, one of those things where that's the stories we'd hope would come out of a lot of these races.
Well, there you go, Parker. I mean, it's going to be good racing. We're well represented. Moving along, you saw Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming right up. He got a big star. We went from a Hall of Famer to a Hall of Fame inductee. So he's your best friend too, by the way.
Oh, did he write that? Maybe. No, he didn't. He definitely didn't write that. That's a lie. They're making fun of me. Dale works for me at NBC, and I think he's a cool dude, and I'd like to be his friend. Also in this race, Landon, we go from probably the 15-time most popular driver in real life NASCAR to the 2019 most popular driver in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, and that is none other than Casey Kerwin, the popular streamer as well on Twitch. He's in this one, so he'll be good. I mean, a tough one to beat.
Yeah, I mean, and on our real driver status report, I don't know why it says real driver.
Yeah,
I always call it physical world driver. These are all real drivers. That's right. It's real driver status report. I mean, Garrett Smithley kind of has the most success right now. I mean, who am I leaving out? Because we're so close with Ryan Truex there, but Garrett Smithley in pure dominating fashion in race 5. Man, I really wanted more out of some of our real drivers, but we've got some good ones coming up with Dale Jr. And William Byron, obviously, in our last race number 8. But coming up here, I mean, this race is stacked. I mean, we really only mentioned Casey Kerwin, driver for Denny Hamlin Racing, but we've also got Kane Cooked, an NIS fixed legend. So this is a guy that knows how to run, as I mentioned earlier, these distance races. Nicholas Morse, a Road to Pro veteran. Byron Daly, he's an engineer, a NASCAR engineer. Obviously, our co-driver on the NAST Boys endurance team. Parker, we ran the 24-hour Nürburgring. So we're definitely stacked in this field. And I also want to shout out a good friend of mine that's in this race, Jason Fellenbaum, who used to race DMP, which was Dale Jr.'s league back in the day. Very competitive, wanting to get back into it. And he knows race strategy really well. He's one that I'd want to see in the 400-miler.
You mentioned Byron Daly. He is an engineer in NASCAR for Richard Childress Racing. One of my good friends, actual good friends, maybe unlike Dale be my best friend, but he also is a former eNASCAR driver. He raced in the top championship for a couple years, so he is no slouch when it comes to iRacing. And he may have qualified a little bit far in the back, but I'm sure he's a smart racer. He'll find his way to the front.
I could see
there you
Parker,
go. Look at this view.
Little cloud cover here moving over in Daytona. As we see, we're looking through this starting grid. Shane Liff on the pole here with Alec Martinez, Scott Ratliff, Tony Ball, Colin Bowden, and Kane Cook starting 6th.
Going to be Chris Stump in the 7th position there. Casey Kerwin, highlighted him, rolling off from the 8th spot. Nick Morse in 9th. Josh Chin in 10th. Colin Feller, 11th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 12th spot. Austin Edwards, 13th. Troy Sabat in 14th. Caden Rush, 15th. Randy Arms in 16th. Trey Normile in 17th. Justin Melillo, keep an eye on him, also representing the FTF Racing Leagues, in 18th. Alex Good, 19th. And Connor Parisi in the 20th spot.
You got Brian McSwain on the inside of row 11. Christopher Stonerock, Dallas Sullivan, Jeffrey Stewart there on the outside of row 12. Already in 1600. Kenny Kibbe, Jason Fellenbaum, your buddy there. Byron Daly, my buddy. 6,200 iRating. I didn't even know he was that high. That's awesome to see. Gilliam Hesnall, Hunter Reeve, and Dylan Smith on the outside of row 15. Stacked field throughout here. Mark Vaughn on the inside of row 16. Jacob A. Hope, Justin Halverson, Chris A. Wood, and Michael DiMaggio. Cody Bird rounds out row 18.
Well, it's John Hinchcliffe, Brandon Watkins, Jonathan Goke, Thomas Delago, Doug Burns, and Dustin Besh, rounding out your field. I do want to make mention, so I mentioned the cloud cover coming here. So we had some showers come through here in Daytona. The weather is cooling off. The track had to be cleaned off. It's still a little warm, but there's showers in the area. So we had a light shower, a little bit less usage on the track here. And it's getting a little cloudier. Like dark skies, could see some rain in the area.
What's our temperature right now? You just 87 degrees. The winds are high. They're up at 10 miles per hour of the northeast. So this is some of the most different conditions we've seen out of all the prelim races. As we mentioned,
it's been hot, but it's just darker. You see darker skies in the area here, and obviously that wind is picking up. That wind is
Parker, I got bad news for you.
What's that?
It's being reported on Twitter that Dale Jr.'s best friend is actually Chandler Parsons. So you might have to fight Chandler to get that title.
I got removed. I knew it. Once they put that graphic up, I knew it was over. My chances were sunk. Yeah. Well,
unfortunate.
At least I got you guys.
Yeah, man.
That wasn't confident. Yes.
Yeah, you got us. What was what was that theme song from Toy Story? You got a friend in me, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was hoping for.
All right.
Thanks for the support.
Go listen to that song, and you'll be okay.
Landon's silence is deafening right now.
I thought he left, to be honest. We get set here. Pace car is off. Big green egg. Green flag in the air for our third Infra Challenge 100 here. 40 laps, 40 minutes as we are side by side across the line. A gaggle of cars. I'll try not to say gaggle too many times. I think that's the first time I've said it, but they're too wide going off into one.
We'll give you a gaggle counter here soon.
Thank
and
you.
This is a little bit of a friskier start than we've seen throughout these prelim nights. This is normally they're getting down that bottom fighting, but oh wow, board Liff, and he just sort of quick cleared himself to the outside. That was really tight.
Park makes me nervous when I see him running up front and below the yellow line when they're 2x2. Single file below the yellow line's okay, but below the yellow line 2x2 makes me nervous. As we're looking at Dale Earnhardt Jr. here, smartly kind of bringing the car down off of turn 4, giving himself some room. Dale's as good as anybody at keeping a car in one piece, but can he do it in an Infra Challenge 100?
He also drives with one hand, so this is, which is just incredible in itself. We've all seen the videos. He's in that filter time Chevy right now. And definitely, you probably go on board and you see these drivers wheeling it and they're tugging at the wheel, and Dale would be sitting there with one hand, just chilling, easing his way around the racetrack. So I think these cars were designed for his style and his the way he likes to drive. So I expect good things out of him.
You think there's easing around the track in these cars, Parker?
No, but he does. He makes it look easy. I mean,
he does.
That one-handed stuff, that business is. I mean, that's a that's upfront program right there, because I can't do it.
It's Ohio boy Chris Stump.
Is that because he's a real driver?
That's quotation real driver.
So speaking of real drivers here, I've got Chris Stump, who I grew up racing late models with. He's from Ohio, ran an ASA with him. Good to see him. He's been practicing a lot, running some laps.
Stuff like that. He's in the transfer spot. Pretty cool to ride on board. It's real hectic in the transfer spot right now. They're all over the place back there.
All right, we just had a poll go through chat, Parker. You're going to like this one. We asked chat on Twitch, who is Dale Jr.'s best friend? Is it Parker Kligerman or Chandler Parsons? And you'll be happy to know 67% of the vote went to you.
That's exceptional. Thank you. Thank you, chat. Well, you know what? Put that aside. We've got an insane battle here for the transfer spot. I'll let Dale make the choice of who's his best friend, not the poll. But that's the I'm looking at Caden Rush and Dale Earnhardt Jr. there now on the transfer cam. Oh, we get a caution out.
We do have a wreck off the banking in turns 1 and 2. It's John Hinchcliffe, not the mayor of Hinchtown, by the way. John Hinchcliffe and Thomas DeLago getting together, and it looks like it started actually in front of DeLago with the number 10 of Michael DiMaggio. Just got loose going into the quarter. We've seen that 100 times already here tonight. Chases it up the track and gets absolutely starched out of the corner. And that sets off a chain of events there. That was DeLago first on scene that absolutely clobbers him there. Nowhere for DeLago to go. Hit him so hard, I do believe DiMaggio disappeared.
He exited the park.
He gone.
Oh, wow. Yep.
That was a launch.
That's a lot.
And we've seen, this is the second or third time we've seen that when they go 5 laps. Oh,
But not event tracked blowover count. These are SpaceX rocket launches.
that was a
So-
launch count. Still looking for
Yeah.
sponsorship on that one.
Yeah, well, I keep telling SpaceX, saying it like they'll come to us, but
You know that
Elon, if he's watching, you know.
what I was saying there, Parker, is, you know, we get 5 laps on tires, and it just seems like that is the lap that the right rear goes over its peak grip temperature, and the cars start getting free into the corner. You got to start lifting just a little bit. It's hard to do that. It's hard to want to lift in these cars because you feel like you can run wide open all the laps, but you just give up a few feet from the car in front of you. Lift, it keeps your car stable. You can go right back to wide open when the car lands. It's just when that transition in the banking, when the car loads in that transition, you just gotta back off a little bit. Gets a little light.
I've got a bigger problem here. I need a refill.
What's that?
I need a refill here. This is it.
Oh, brother. He needs a refill. All right, go get it. Go. You know what? I'll take one since you didn't ask. I'll
Yeah,
take one.
you want me to get one for the booth here?
Yeah, let's get around here. Let's get around for the booth. We're looking here at the top right of the screen, and we're looking here at somebody that I've known for a very, very long time, well over 10 years, probably 15 years myself, Justin Melillo, in the number 53 Radio Shack machine, of course, representing FTF League. A league that runs still in the old sim plus here on iRacing as well, but also a writer for the racing experts, and has really burst onto the scene as a premier provider of coverage for sim racing, iRacing, and particularly the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. And it's been so fun to watch Justin cover our sport and our hobby in such a high fashion way. He's been traveling to the tracks, covering the real life racing as well. But I know he was really looking forward to this event. Nervous as all heck, but he knows super speedways. He grew up doing super speedways, and right now scored in that 15th position. So good to see Justin there. And if you're not following him already on social media, and you want to follow somebody who provides excellent coverage, in my opinion, I can only speak for myself. Excellent coverage of real life racing and sim racing as well. Definitely go look him up. Give him a follow. Give a follow to the racing experts as well. Just really cool to see, and I've always been a fan of Justin's work, and to see what he's doing now, Landon, on our side of things is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. He's given the sport a lot of good coverage, so always seen that. A good looking car too. How about that Radio Shack?
I love
throwback scheme.
And
yeah,
an
there's
sticker on the side.
a special decal on the side of the car as well. You'll see above, next to the Papyrus logo and above the FTF logo, right behind the number there, is a rose with Bud on it, honoring his grandfather, I do believe. I don't have the full story on that. I do believe that is the case, but so we've certainly heard when we talked with Blake McCandless yesterday about the meaning behind his livery and why he was running it, and Justin Melillo, as you see there on the side of the helmet as well. Guys taking the opportunity to do something special with their paint scheme to promote something that's important to them.
Very cool. He's got his work cut out for him. He's in P15 right now. Just need a couple more spots.
He's a wheelman. We've seen had to race against him a couple times in the Monday Night League that we do, and he's been up there battling me for the win late in races. So I've got confidence in Justin Melillo. I think he can get it done here tonight.
He's fixing to burst onto the scene. I have it on good authority from the driver himself. He just made a large investment into some very serious equipment to upgrade his driving equipment. So I do believe we'll be seeing Justin Melillo tearing up the virtual racetrack with his nice new equipment in the near future. So keep an eye out for him.
Awesome. Very cool.
Tough competition around this transfer cam as we come back to green.
Absolutely. We'll take a look at the transfer spot cam, the Trans-Service transfer spot cam. Big green egg, green flag, back in the air. Alec Martinez leads him down. Kane Cook there in second, Kerwin third. Colin Bowden in that fourth position, and Tony Ball in fifth. Side by side, Junior on the high side had a run and got blocked off by Ball. Ball goes back up to block again. Junior wisely lifts, but boy, that was a big move there by Tony Ball to block off Junior.
He did, and Dale was going to the outside. I thought he was going to make it 3 wide for a second. He poked the nose out there, but decided not to do it. He now sits behind Ball and just pushing him down the backstretch, trying to get around. I believe that's Joshua Chin. And Dale is committed to the outside lane. As we see so many drivers from the bottom, he's committed to the outside lane right now.
Seems like, I guess nothing's really changed, whether it's 1987, 2007, 2011, 2020, well, 2018 maybe, 17. Dale loves the top. And I also noticed Dale doesn't have a hard time getting someone to follow him as a caution is out.
Ooh, we got right here on the front straightaway,
John
right at the
Hinchcliffe.
flag. Oh, I think we can queue one up, Parker, for Jeffrey Stewart. Is it a blowover? It's not a blowover. It's a I don't know what the hell that was.
Is it a
He
puff?
adds the Ventrac blowover count.
That's not a blowover. It's like it was a grass rollover, a grollover.
A Grola. Wow, hold on. Well, let me see this on replay. I'll be the judge of this. All right, so we're getting spun off 4. That's unfortunate. We really shouldn't have done that. Oh, all right, we'll call that a blow. Nah, that's a blowover. I'm calling it. That's a Ventrac blowover. What are we at? We're at 5 now. Put up the graphic. Cue the music.
That's a blowover?
I don't know.
I'm calling it a puff.
What? All right, don't cue it. Don't cue it. I've been denied. Ah,
Wait,
I
what?
got it. I got it. Yes. That means it's
But
official.
you know what? Make it a poll. Put it in chat. Is that a blowover or is that a grollover?
It's official.
Doesn't
It's
count.
on the graphic. The graphic never lies. That is like written in stone at this point.
AJ, get us
I
a
think
chat. Get us a poll
Yeah, I
in
think
the
it's
chat.
written
Let's
in
see this one more
graphs,
time.
actually.
Oh, that's a classic. Oh, the car definitely got light, but that's not a blowover, Parker. The car's got to blow from the
Because of
underside.
the air blowing under it.
Man, is that because you took the over and I took the under?
Maybe.
Or we both took the under, didn't we? What are you doing, Parker?
Well, I can't remember what I picked. No, I picked the 8 to 11. I picked the 8 to 11 one on the poll. I picked
Okay.
or 9 to 11. 9 to 11. You were 8 or under. So I really need to up these numbers.
Whatever it was, I took the under.
There was multiple choice. We're on board here, Jeffrey Stewart, and this is
What a ride! Oh, I'm like leaning in my seat right now. Oh, and that's not.
That reminds me, wasn't it? Was it Jordan Taylor that during the what were we racing?
Oh, it was in Monza Madness.
Yeah, he flipped his rig. His rig flipped over, the motion rig.
He's got a motion rig, and it just went and then flipped the other way. I mean, everything is mad in Monza Madness.
That is insane. I mean, we always make the joke. People always want to say, "Hey, you know, like, wouldn't it be cool if in sim racing, like when you hit the wall, like there was something that shocked you or something like that, remember?" And then that was
Like
the first time.
actually penalized you.
Yeah, actually penalized you physically, and I was like, I sent that video to all those people. I was like, look, it actually happened for once.
Right.
He wrecked his
Wow.
rig.
We had an
man.
unfortunate oversight in the poll.
Uh-oh.
We had an unfortunate oversight in the poll. We had rollover was the clear winner, but the other option was only a rollover, not a blowover.
We need a new poll.
We need a new poll. New poll.
We need
A couple
Put up
Coke
a new
drivers
poll.
here. Up in the top 3, Kane Cook, Casey Kerwin, most popular driver. Is this we need to have Casey Kerwin and Dale Jr. and see who the most popular driver matchup is going to be. That's our next poll.
Yep.
We need that in the poll. Casey Kerwin
should
versus
say-
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, we should say, by the way, if you're watching on anything other than Twitch, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, even YouTube,
That's
I
right.
believe, that this is all happening on Twitch, these polls. So we'll tell you the results. You just obviously can't vote in them unless you were to go over to the Twitch.
That's right. So
Twitch.tv/Landon Castle. Right there.
There you have it. Let's point out Kane Cook, by the way, the car that he's driving. A very unique one, by the way. That is a Nissan Skyline. We saw Celicas yesterday with Hamlin and Kyle Busch. Today is a Nissan Skyline for Kane Cook in second place. That is a sharp looking car.
That is awesome. I saw that on Twitter. I kind of freaked out. That is super, super cool. So we get a close-up shot of it coming towards us. I mean, you can tell whoever painted that, whether it's himself or someone else, that is incredible craftsmanship there to make that look as realistic as it does. It's got those rear lights, the quad lights in the back. That's just so cool. I love that.
Now the question, if you're a Nissan fan, you got to wonder, is that a beginning of the year or a end of the year Skyline? Obviously, the R30 was at the beginning of 1987, then halfway through 1987, the R31 was launched to replace it. So if we get a chance to talk to Kane at some point, or maybe we'll reach out to Twitter to ask him if it's an R30 or an R31, and I'm sure he can tell us. But nonetheless, a sharp-looking car.
Did you have Street Magazine, David, growing up?
I was a road and track guy.
All right. Your knowledge of the tuner culture is incredible.
I got an update for you, Parker.
Okay, all right.
Because we got to get the graphic updated before we go to green. But Grollover beat Blowover by a wide margin, 89% to 11. So please, can we update that Blowover match?
Wait, 89%?
It was 89. It's 88 to 12 right now percent.
Okay, well,
so we need to take one off the Blowover counter. Put it back down.
That is suspect.
Move it
because you.
No, you didn't change it back down to 4. Back down, or what is it supposed to be?
It should be 4.
That's right. Okay, we're going green here.
We had our first rollover of the event as the big green flag goes back in the air. We need a lot of new sponsors. We need a launch counter. We need a rollover counter. My goodness. But we are back underway. And Junior, not the greatest restart. A little bit of a gap in front of him to Tony Ball, but I guess maybe he wants to see if Ball will block him again.
I think that push that he's about to get into turn 1 is going to close the gap. It's a little, looks like Martinez losing a couple spots on the outside. That top, when you get to the front of the field, the outside groove is just not where it's at. You need to be on the bottom for those first 5 or 6 cars.
That allowed Kane Cook to get to the lead of this thing in that Nissan Skyline. The first laps led for a Nissan Skyline at Daytona in iRacing. I think I can say that with serious confidence right now. There isn't many of those out there right now. And doing a great job as Alec Martinez continues to fall back. He's now falling behind, I think, or he's just in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. there.
There's Dale looking good. Notice the half bucket seat. Seat in that car that Dale is sitting in is a real replica. Dale's in the fence. Hang on to it.
He got it.
Nice little lift. You can see a little right front
but
damage.
They don't got it further in the back. They don't got it. And we got another yellow. Ooh, this is an ugly one. This is, what in the world happened here? This is the 22 of Brandon Watkins, the Pennzoil machine. Throwback to, I don't know if it was Bahari Racing. That might have been before Bahari Racing, but Watkins lost it by himself and then carries it back up into the track into Dustin Besh. And
That's a tough one.
That is rough. He gets catapulted a few times, and Chris Wood's involved. Jason Fellenbaum in the Blue Emu machine. Look at the miss that Fellenbaum had in that Blue Emu machine. My goodness.
Well,
that's a man who knows where the brake pedal is. First. Wow.
Let's get those cameramen up on Fellenbaum.
Blue Emu would be proud of that one. I'm going to tell you that right now.
They will be.
That was incredible. He found the brake pedal, and that's how you use it, folks.
Here he is, right here in the corner of your, right in the middle of our screen. Little gap in front of him. See smoke now on the racetrack. The wreck's happening.
No way.
Wow. Jason with the move.
That is the miss of the night. Miss of the event so far. Wow. All right.
Yeah, is that better than Jill? Is that better than Jill's Moses moment to get into the top 11?
Jill's was
cleared
clutch
for him. Yeah,
and they put him in a transfer spot.
What just happened there? Fellenbaum just had to literally wheel his way through there. He had cars coming at him. He had then car coming back up the racetrack. He had to slow down the right amount, get the thing slowed down, and then turn it down the racetrack to get away. That was incredibly impressive. He absolutely deserves the move of the race, or the event so far.
Definitely the driving skill right there.
That was cool.
Well, I can tell you, social media, we've got hashtag Firecracker 400 going. We've got hashtag Full Yeet going. And now we've got hashtag Grollover going as well. And it puts a smile on my face for sure that we've got this working. But you guys are absolutely killing it on social media. Please keep it up. Use the hashtags. Let us know your thoughts on this event. And it's fun to see everybody chiming in, taking a lot of pride in this event. And Grollover, who'd have thunk we'd have made something like that?
Parker, I just checked my phone here. I'll see if I'd love to get an interview with him, but we do have a statement from Ryan Truex. He says that was poo.
Yep, I got a similar text.
Yep.
I did get a similar text. Yes.
I'm so sad for, you know what? I'm gonna wear my Ryan Truex shirt all day tomorrow. I'm just gonna wear it all day tomorrow.
Of his Firecracker 400 hopes and dreams.
Yes, I will. I will wear it tomorrow all day, just because I'm so sad he didn't make it in.
Well, I do have to say, he did text me this, and I have to agree with him at this point. He does have some of the worst racing luck in iRacing I've ever seen. The guy is very competitive a lot of times, but just can't seem to buy a break in any of these big events. But hey, you never know. There's gonna be more. We'll be doing more of these. There's more in the future, and maybe that will just start to turn around for him in the future. But he has some rotten luck.
Hey, we were just riding on board with the Blue Emu onboard cam with Dale Earnhardt Jr., who at least just won a poll on Twitch here on my Twitch channel. 74% over 26% to Casey Kerwin, the most popular driver heads-up matchup. So now Dale has to deliver on his pole win and drive up there and beat Casey Kerwin. He's going to need to do it with a little bit of right side damage, it looks like.
Here's the thing. I think it's an honor just to be put in any sort of most popular polling with Dale Earnhardt Jr. So for Casey Kerwin, that is a whole new level of stardom in motorsports world to even be put in that poll, let alone gain any percentage versus him. So we know he's got to be the most popular driver in the United States and one of the most popular in the world. So that is definitely, I mean, that's impressive for Casey to get that many.
Good for Casey. Good for Casey.
He's got a strong fan base.
He does. I'll tell you this right now. There are some NASCAR purists out there who would be absolutely incensed, especially in 1987, but certainly maybe even now, to know that a Nissan Skyline is leading a race at Daytona International Speedway that's featuring American stock cars.
Well, we didn't only say this event was only, for drivers to show up. This is for Nissan to show what they could have done in 1987. And we're seeing it right now. I drove an early 90s Skyline, not quite as old as this 87. That was a tremendous car, and it really made you think they were quite ahead of their time back then. So I'm not surprised to see it being out here in front.
Well, he's out front leading the field to this restart here. Big green egg, green flag back in the air. It's Cook and Kerwin out front. The two Coke Series drivers. That's a lot of C sounds going off there. It's alliteration. I'm sure James Pike is loving that somewhere as he's listening. But Caden Rush blocking, defending, and that's going to really set back Tony Ball. And we get a quick caution again. Landon, look away. Don't even look at it. You don't want to see it.
That's it. I'm going to the game chat.
It's ugly.
Don't do
it's
it, Parker.
ugly. It's ugly. Jacob Hopp involved as it was just a massive accordion effect about the middle portion of the field around the Dallas Sullivan, Connor Parisi, Austin Edwards machines. Yeah, not good. Scott Ratliff, Malillo, all in that area right there. And they just expand, contract, and people start running each other over.
I'm just not looking in anger.
Yeah, just
frustration. Hey, what is happening there? What are you doing bump drafting off the restart? It's not going to go anywhere. Nope.
We need to get an F in chat. We need an F in chat for Raw Gator. Trey Normil got absolutely flip-flapped over after contact with, I believe, the 3 of Mark Vaughn, but Raw Gator, YouTuber, and sim racer. Yeah, you saw it there. That's a big yikes.
I don't know. It was past the start finish line. They were all getting up to speed appropriately, and then it just ran into the back of the car in front, and of course wasn't gonna be able to hold because it came in with about 20 miles an hour more in speed, and yeah, that's what happens.
Well, I mean, it never should have been pulled out of line before the start finish line. Anyways, it's clear as day in the rules. Obviously, we had to enforce that on Ray Alfala in the last race, so. But we'll keep moving. It's how long are we into this thing? We should have a timer up somewhere.
We're halfway in laps.
About halfway in laps.
Kick into the timer here soon.
15:50 to go. So we've got some time left. We can still see some green flag racing. Obviously, Dale Jr.'s dropped to 8th. Shane Liff at 11th. Troy Sabat 12th. Chris Stump all racing for the transfer spot. I want to shout out to Scott Ratliff. As well in P14. He's been committed to the Firecracker 400, Parker, from day one. Actually, put up a lot of the original practice sessions. Scott did. So, yeah, he was very active in Twitch. He runs that MGM car. Beautiful car, by the way. Love the coloring and the wheels on that one. So thanks a lot to Scott for all of your money and hosted sessions, your investment in putting up some practice sessions.
That's the great thing. Hey, we haven't probably talked about it enough, David, and you know this, and Landon and I know this, but the community in iRacing is awesome. And we've all made so many friends throughout this whole community, and you know, there's guys like Scott who step up and have no vested interest in this other than, you know, just to help us get some more practice out there, help other drivers. We're looking at Blue Emu and the Blue Emu onboard cam. It's just Blue Emu everywhere. Big supporters of this community, Landon, but it's just so cool to see all the different ways the community help each other out. They step up to help events like this. We, you know, this entire event, our whole team is just people in the community. And, you know, I think it's a cool thing. And if you're watching this and you're not a part of the iRacing community, what's holding you back? Get on in here. It's a great time.
Exactly. Sign up now. There's always specials on iRacing.com. There's always some sort of package deal that you can buy. Community is what brought us with Jason here, running the Blue Emu house car. We saw AJ Henderson came from my Twitch. The Controller King drove the Blue Emu house car into the transfer spot last night. Jason's looking to do the same here. Jason, if you follow his Twitter, he follows the NASCAR races really closely, knows race strategy really well, calls it pretty consistent. Been a sim racer for a long time, so we love it. That's what we're trying to build here, Parker. Just a big old group of guys and gals that want to go racing.
Yep, I agree. And we've said it before, and we'll say it again. We want to be inclusive for everyone. So you know, it's we're not going to discriminate based on iRatings and license levels and that sort of stuff. We love that stuff, and it's really cool that it's there and that it's being tracked. We want to see your progress to that stuff, but we want to give you an equal shot in every one of these events to have to become, you know, someone that goes out and beats Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Kane Cook or Casey Kerwin and becomes the next Casey Kerwin potentially.
Yep.
It's all well said, and I'll go one step further on this as we get ready for the restart here. If this event interests you and you weren't a part of it, don't worry. There will be more events. So the next time something pops up, just make sure you keep your eye on social media accounts, eRacer, as well as Landon, Parker, myself, anyone else involved. And you'll know when the next event comes up, and you can get involved as well. And again, remember, no restrictions means anybody can join. So if you didn't get in on this one, you can get in on the next one. Big green egg, green flag back in the air as we are underway. A scattered start once again throughout the field, but it looks like everyone's minding their P's and Q's for the most part as Kane Cook continues to lead Casey Kerwin, a single file train, much like we saw in the last race.
And Dale Jr. is the first car out of the bottom lane right now in that front pack. He is. Oh my
Damn.
gosh! What is the deal,
All right, what happened here?
boys?
Let's take a look. Oh no, it's
no.
Brandon Watkins again in that Pennzoil machine, and we saw it so many times last night. Eats the wall, right side tires jump off the air. He loses all his momentum and then just comes down right into the racing lane, right into the path of Jeffrey Stewart in the 72. And we hyped him up so much. Jason Fellenbaum could not miss that one. A little bit of damage there. And more carnage. Justin Besh one more time. Jacob Hopp again. Same guys that were in the last wreck, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, I think see how the officials take that. That might be subject for removal from the event, unfortunately.
It's tough. It's very tough. You know, we saw it so many times yesterday of guys just getting up into the wall by themselves, and the way these cars react when they get together with the wall is different than the other cars that are here in iRacing. You know, you drive a modern cup car or truck or Xfinity series vehicle at Daytona, and it's not going to react exactly like that. But for these cars, Parker, you mentioned it yesterday, the tires dig into the wall. It sort of ramps up a little bit, and it's really hard to control. But, you know, you got to still try and fight and be aware of where your car is in relation to the pack, and coming down into the way of oncoming traffic, trying to control it. It's just a very hard thing to do.
It is, and it's, you know, they're modeling a very heavy, big race car on skinny tires, and they're just, you know, they're hard to run into a wall and get away with. They're on bias ply tires, and it's just, you know, these big behemoths that don't have a lot of grip, they don't have a lot of downforce. They're made with, you know, they're heavy.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough, and they get sucked in the wall, and it's hard to remove that big old beast off the wall. So that's just what.
But hey, you know, better luck next time. You know, get lots of practice, keep it in one piece. We'll always have a spot for you. Come race with us, Jeffrey, and you know, who knows?
Hey, look, I promise you put up the poll in the chat right now that the Firecracker 200 and the Firecracker 400 combined won't hit the amount of cautions that are in one of these prelims. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. I don't know what I'll put up.
Those two races, how many cautions are we seeing in these races? Like 7 or 8 before they finally end?
Too many. That's not many. Too many.
Let's say the 400. You think the Firecracker 400 will have less than 7 cautions?
Yes.
No.
Guarantee it.
Really?
David,
guarantee it.
I guarantee it.
Yes. What are you putting on it to guarantee it?
All right. Why don't we I don't know, what can I offer?
Why, Parker? Why do you think less that for a 400 mile, 4 times the distance of this race, the same amount of cautions?
Well, because I think the difference is you're gonna have no resets. You're gonna have drivers who, with the way the payout and everything, it's pretty much fair throughout the entire field. You're not racing when you're outside the top 11 these races. You're basically, you're out, right? So you're doing everything you can to get something done. You're to take low percentage moves, a ton of risk. When you get into the Firecracker 400, it's going to pay $100 just to start it. You paid $25 to get in this event. You've tripled your money right then and there. So I think it's a definite situation where, in that point, you can be smart about your race, take care of your race car, knowing there's no resets. We won't have these cautions.
And I want to add one more point to that, Parker. Because we're using open setups for the Firecracker 200 and 400, these drivers will have been building their cars for 2 weeks. And what did we learn in the fake 500 when we had to run open setups with the Lotus 79? We spent all that time building a setup. We were invested in our cars. And I didn't want to wreck it. And we actually had a reset in that race. And I still didn't want to wreck. You did wreck yours, actually. And I wrecked mine too. But it wasn't my fault. And yours wasn't your fault.
No, the first
never
really
your fault.
With no resets and an open setup, we feel like these guys are going to invest a lot of time in their cars. They're going to try to make the race. They're going to sit through single car qualifying, and they're going to get to that 400-mile race, and they're going to say, "By God, I am not going to wreck in the first 100 miles of this thing."
Well, I think we're going to get a restart here. Hopefully, hey, look, green to the end. Let's go, boys.
Let's do it.
I like it.
Boys,
I like
let's
it.
go.
I like everything that you're saying, Landon. I like the fact that you're hopeful that these guys will race with a brainstem attached and realize it's a long race and not do anything silly. But again, we heard it from the winner of the first race tonight, Garrett Smithley, who said it himself. You put on the helmet and then you become whatever he said. It was something eloquent. I'm going to butcher it, but you put on the helmet and everything goes out the window. That's just the race car driver way.
My dad always says their helmet is too small. It's squeezing their brain.
Yep. The only thing is we don't wear helmets in sim racing. We got the green back.
Some would argue there's not much to squeeze anyways, but that's a separate discussion. Big green egg, green flag back in the air. Kane Cook once again leading the field down into turn one. Casey Kerwin, Colin Bowden on the rear bumper there. Alec Martinez, Caden Rush, everyone's single file. Dale Jr. Is going to pull out a line there, go to the high side. We've seen him try and do this multiple times, but he gets blocked off by Nick Morris. Morris jumps up to take that run. Jr. falls back, and look at this. Joshua Chin right there as well in the quarter pound. That's close.
These guys are racing so hard, Landon. This is what we always talk about. You're in. What are you doing? Why do you got to go like this? To go
I know, but Dale
Jr.
He's almost not in. I mean, he's dropping back. He's in 9th now. He doesn't have as much of a cushion anymore. And we've proven in these last couple of races that have made it to the white flag. I don't think you want to be in 11th on the last lap, Parker.
No, you don't. We saw Peter Bennett in the last race hold on so intensely for that spot. Dude, it came down to the start-finish line side by side. Look at these front cars, though. The outside lanes where we come in, we're seeing the cloud cover come over right now. It's getting very cloudy on the racetrack. That's going to add some grip, especially down in 1 and 2 as they enter the sun here in 3 and 4, right, as I said.
Riding along with Dale Jr. and the Blue Emu on board. Right on the rear bumper of that 93 Joshua Chin. I mean, we're on the transfer cam. I can't figure out who's in the transfer spot. You can just throw
Troy
a blanket
Sabat
right over
right
the
now
breakaway.
scored in that 11th spot, Landon. It's Troy Sabat, Shane. Shane Iliff right there is, Iliff
Wow.
I think is not. That's look, a pack of cars. Look at this. They're
most
too wide.
we have seen yet in the prelims in the Firecracker 400 event. This is insane. It's making me
It's like somebody told them it's time to go. It's like somebody said it's time to go, and they are going because we're getting down to the end of this thing. Malillo's there in 12th, battling on the inside. I mean, they are too wide, 7 rows deep.
What makes me worried right here, off of
that
leader.
Oh, no, Justin gets turned. They get turned in the middle of the front straightaway. Troy Sabat's around. Everybody's around on the front straightaway. That's a track blocker, and we got people plowing through as well. Oh, my God, Malillo gets
in the air
again. Oh, Malillo up and over, and my heart breaks for him.
Oh.
That is hard. I was just saying, David, I am worried about these guys running the outside lane. You've got the leader on the bottom. You can clip the bottom and get loose. The outside lane, if you're within 8 feet of the wall off of 4, it's gonna suck you into the fence. And I couldn't even get the words out. Bam. Looked like a bad bump draft there, maybe.
Man, and everyone just plowing in here.
I mean, and that tore up several cars. I mean, there was nobody that got through that thing.
And they're so vulnerable just sitting there in the track, and you're hoping, you're praying that you're not going to get hit. And I don't know if the message never got relayed to Thomas DeLago or not in that Kellogg's machine, but he came in at such a huge rate of speed and absolutely starched Justin Malillo from existence. And it's just so unfortunate. So many cars that didn't need to get torn up there, and they just get torn up more.
Justin did nothing wrong there.
No, he got hooked again, and like Truex got hooked, like Ed Carpenter got hooked. Just, oh my gosh, that hurts to watch right there. That hurts to watch.
Oof, that Radio Shack machine taking a beating.
That's that's tough to. That's personally speaking, that's hard for me to watch. That I know Justin's.
Yeah.
Really had a lot into this, and it meant a lot for him. And he was in the right spot, and God, he just didn't have the luck to get through that. And that's a tough one.
So that's moved. I mean, that's moved some fresh drivers up into the top 10 here. I mean, I'm looking at Tony Ball, Nicholas Moore, Shane Iliff, Randy Arms is back in it now. Scott Ratliff is back in it in 12th in the game.
Yep.
We've got 2 minutes to go. Are we gonna get to green here, or is this gonna end? Is this gonna end under caution?
Or are we gonna get one of those nice one laps shootouts that we like?
Well,
Byron Daly up to 16th. He's gonna be really close if we get a restart
It's gonna
here.
be tough.
Yep.
we'll see what race control says if we get a restart or not. As you got a few more glimpses of this, looking from Randy Arms. You saw the chaos out the back bumper there. Just tough scenes right at the end of the race. I mean, that's some of the most heartbreaking stuff right there to go through. Is you put yourself in the right position, and then it just gets taken away from you through no fault of your own. And that's one of the cruelest parts, I think, Landon, of racing.
Yeah.
Whether it's real life or sim, it can just be taken from you like that.
Yep, that's right. I mean, it's. I don't know. I sometimes I want to feel like you make your own luck, but then you just look at for some of these, and not just Justin. I mean, the guys behind him, these people, these drivers that have just been trying to keep it in one piece, and it is hard to drive through a wreck here at Daytona, Parker. It is narrow, and these cars are hard to stop.
They're hard to stop. They're hard to turn. They're hard to do anything, and that's what makes stock cars fun. That's what makes stock cars is that they don't want to do anything well, and they don't do anything well. Maybe accelerating is about it. So
yeah,
you're always fighting them, and I always think about these cars are what I imagined when I was going to go drive a stock car drove like, right? And like what I was going to drive when I got to the Cup Series. And obviously technology has moved far past these cars and such, but it's I think that's why there's so much fanfare around them. This is what as racers, we just love these. You got to manhandle them. You got to wheel them. You got to just feel like you're such an integral part of the equation that it's just such a fun time. Are we gonna get a restart here?
Yeah, I think we are.
Oh,
no,
baby.
it says final lap.
Oh,
We're not gonna get a restart.
Well, I think we're getting one. From
let's see.
From what I'm told, we're getting one.
Well, I don't think so, because if it's under caution and we see final lap, so.
I hope we get one. I mean, I would love to see a restart, a little more chaos, but remains to be seen. If not, then so be it. We got our top 11, and unfortunately for Scott Ratliff, he'll be on the outside looking in along with others. But we'll anxiously await to see what happens here. Junior's in at the moment if we don't go back racing, so we'll keep an eye on the lead cars here, see what happens as the pace car is going to turn left. Do we get a real restart here?
We do.
Yeah, they're coming up to speed. They're racing.
Okay.
We're going to get a one-lap dash attack, I believe, right here.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here
comes Junior to the inside. Junior to the inside underneath Martinez. Oh, he's going to get into it.
No!
He's going to get into it with Chin. Junior losing his momentum. He's back to the 9th position. Big gap behind him. Here comes Shane Inliff. Shane's going to have to do something here. He's got a big gap back to the 12th position. Byron Daly trying to get around Scott Ratliff.
Going for it.
This is for the 11th spot. Ratliff has it. Daly wants it. This is the transfer spot right here. Byron Daly. As the leaders start spinning, they hold on to it. Losing momentum. They're getting up into the wall. Ratliff up into the fence. He's out of it. 11th is Byron Daly. Byron Daly to the line. They're bumping off each other. They're beating each other. Back to the line they go. And it's going to be... I don't even know. I think it was Shane.
He got 10th. He got 10th.
Daly with 10th.
Shane Lift gets in. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes 8th, I believe. Casey Irwin wins. That was insane.
There was so much going on there, guys, between Junior and the leaders and the transfer spot. People beating and banging off of each other. What? Oh, my goodness.
We'll be picking this one apart till the start of the next one. Wow.
I mean, can we get Dale's on board? I think on that, I think that's what we need to see.
He gets knocked he rode it through the grass in the one. There was enough of separation. He kept it going. But Byron Daly, guys, restarted 15th on that last lap and finished 10th to advance through. Here's Dale's on board.
What a drive by Junior. Look at him. Perfectly timed it to get to the inside of Alec Martinez right there, and then gets into it with Josh Chin in the 93. I don't know how they saved it, but you saw the effect it had on Junior's momentum. The only saving grace he had right there, boys, was the fact he had a huge gap behind him as the cars were really slow getting up to speed behind him, and that gave him that breathing room that he needed.
They'd given him a gap, and then all hell was breaking loose behind him. It does into turn 3 again as we head into here as well in front because some of the leaders get sideways. That checks them all up. He gets a huge run here on some of these cars. He has to almost back it up a little bit, gets super loose off of 4, and then behind him was a ton of cars coming, like Byron Daly with a huge run. And wow, that's a hell of a finish.
That is a hell of a finish. Let's take a look at the finishing results here quickly before we transition to our 4th and final race of the night. And it was Casey Kerwin pulling down the win. Caden Rush coming home in 2nd. Colin Bowden in 3rd. Alec Martinez in 4th. Josh Chin 5th. Tony Ball in 6th. Nick Morse makes it through in 7th. Dale Earnhardt Jr. makes it through in 8th. Good for him. Kane Cook falls late but holds on for 9th. Byron Daly drives up through a bunch of people to get to 10th. And Shane Iliff, your pole sitter, going to finish in that 11th and final transfer spot, boys. What a drive for those top 11. A lot of drama to get it done as you look at the rest of the finishing results.
Yeah, that was nuts. Kenny Kibbe on the outside looking in. Connor Parise, Hunter Reeve, Dylan Smith, Jason Fellenbaum back to 16th. Randy Arms, Dallas Sullivan, Troy Sabat, Austin Edwards, Alex Good, and Cody Bird 22nd.
Unbelievable.
Moving on down.
Unbelievable stuff.
Heartbreaker from Justin Malillo.
Christopher Stovall, Jacob Hope, Scott Ratliff. These are the Chris Stump, Chris Wood. Those are the ones that it just didn't play the way they wanted.
That's tough. Justin, of course, going to Twitter with the hashtag Firecracker400, a picture of his car flying through the air, and one simple word: devastating. And I think we all echo that sentiment very much. God, that's we've seen a lot of crashes, a lot of people not make it in, not move on. I think that's probably for me the hardest one right there.
Yeah, that's tough, and I think the anyone who's in that position and gets taken out like that, it's so frustrating because you're there, Landon, and then it just gets ripped away from you. You can just feel your heart sink. Truex in the last race, similar position. It just your heart breaks for them, but that's racing.
Well, we've a little treat here for you guys in the booth. We're gonna find out from none other than the man himself, who drove through those last couple laps. And I'm trying to sort this out here.
I think I know who you're grabbing.
Yeah, I know. I'm inching him down. I can't get the Discord to scroll here, but I'm inching him down. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on that last lap. Can you walk me through? Because I'm gonna be a little hard on you for a second. What were you doing on that last restart, going into turn 1 again?
Oh man, I was trying to make a move. I don't know. I thought I saw a hole.
It looked like it. Well, I said this about Kyle Busch last night, who made a big move under the yellow line, and I said, man, I think he's been waiting a long time to make a move under the yellow line and not feel like and not get disqualified for it. Maybe that was some inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've not got a lot of time in these cars. I really haven't even tested. I got into this practice that you had right before this race is all I've done in the last 15 days to prepare for this. But so I'm kind of learning where the corners of the car is, and in my mind, looking at the replay, I thought I was next to the yellow line. I had another half a car length down there to get next to that line, and I kind of wasn't where I thought I had positioned the car. But a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys putting this on. Thanks for the opportunity, and it's good to talk to y'all.
Yeah,
thanks, Dale.
Thank you, man.
Well, we appreciate having you.
Look forward to seeing you qualifying.
Yeah, I have to find a little more speed there, but this is such a cool deal, and hopefully I'm just looking forward to 400 miles, man. These cars are a lot of fun.
Dale, I got a question for you before we cut you loose. Chat was wanting to know if you had both hands on the wheel for that one there on the last lap.
Probably not. I don't know. I can't drive with both hands on the wheel, but I think I'm slower or something. Like my reaction's slower. One hand's fast.
There you go, Dale. We appreciate you.
Impressive.
You got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of work to do. Build a setup, get some qualifying speed. You know, I don't know if you remember 2-round qualifying. I know you do actually, because I had to ask you about 2-round qualifying. So.
Yeah. Well, I got some connections, and you know how that is in iRacing. Sometimes they help you out, and sometimes they don't help you out. So we'll see how it goes. I'll see if I can find some speed if I get into the show, you know, to be able to have a good race set up. But it should be a lot of fun. Great program. You guys are first class. I know that this took a lot of work, and you know, kind of been following along all the effort you've been putting into this as a group, and it's pretty awesome. So you guys make sim racing a lot better.
All right, Dale. Thank you very much. Good luck next week, and we'll see you.
We'll see you.
Well, there he is. That was great. What a finish. What an interview. What a guy. I mean,
Well, think about this. We entered tonight, not one real driver had made it through, quote unquote real driver. Sorry.
Real driver.
NASCAR driver had made it through. We now had Garrett Smithley in one race, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the next. We got Byron Daly, the engineer, getting in there. And now coming up next, we got some big names as well in this next one. So we could potentially see a couple big names.
Yeah, we've got yes, we do. We've got weather affecting the track condition. This is more interesting weather has rolled in. We'll let Landon elaborate on that in a moment. We got William Byron in this race, who made a name for himself, obviously in the real world with Hendrick Motorsports, but certainly during the Invitational Challenge while the world was on hold, he was tearing it up on the iRacing side. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets along here. And Logan Clampett, somebody that Parker knows very well from the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. And I think Parker will elaborate on what's in the parentheses there of should have won. So Landon, quickly to you for the weather.
Okay, so we do have a weather report from Joshua Mendoza, our race control for the race 8 drivers. There's a special weather advisory in Daytona. Heavy rain and thunderstorms have moved into the area for the start of their race. This is real. This happened in Daytona. We had big rains, thunderstorms down there. Obviously, we can't simulate the rain at the speedway. We couldn't race in the rain anyway, so we've got to dry the track, blow it off. We had a lot of rubber on the speedway. That's all washed away now, so the track usage is way back down to 20%. The weather's overcast, should be about 76 degrees, 100% humidity, and it's breezy, Parker. Those we saw those winds coming in INFRA Challenge 100 race 7. So now moving through race 8 after the rains have come through, we've dried the track. We've still got some 12-mile-an-hour northeast winds.
So it could be a lot of grip in this one.
Could be a lot of grip. I think it's going to take maybe a few laps to get some rubber built up on the track, but I mean, this is a track temp. Actually, Parker, you might have the track temp. It's quite a bit lower than what we've had. I mean, just an hour ago, it was 80, 87, 88 degrees in Daytona.
There. Yeah.
Now it's 76. Yet. So
76.
It's
wow,
cooled off an awful lot.
A beautiful Florida day. Let's
get into the starting grid here. I'll let you take it away.
Let's do the starting grid, and then we'll circle back to the Logan Clampett story here in a moment. But Gary Cronenwet is certainly a guy to keep an eye on. We'll see where he lines up here, but it's going to be Ryan Doucette starting from the pole. William Byron Jr., we just highlighted him to his outside in second. Michael P. Frisch there in the third spot. Will Norton from fourth. Dylan Nadwadny in the fifth position. Spencer E. Burns in sixth. Eric Smith from Slip Angle Motorsports and the Big Green Egg Machine himself in seventh. Liam Brotherton in eighth. Logan Clampett from Burton Kligerman Esports in ninth. And Josh Parker from Joe Gibbs Racing in 10th.
And Christian Sanford there on the inside of row 6. TJ Majors, the spotter for Joe Logano in the Cup Series, there on the outside of row 6. Jacob Barbie on the inside of row 7. Zach K. Keller on the outside of row 7. Daniel Hollis, Spencer Tart, Steph Marinick, and Travis Spots on the outside of row 9 there with a 1,561 iRating. Gary Cronowet, Manuel Tolentino, Dylan Smith, Chris Downing, Matt Busa from the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series for Williams F1, and Gavin Hibbs rounds out row number 12.
Well, Parker, row 13 is Brett Punkari and Dylan Thomas. Row 14 is Corey Kutina and Joe Agee. Alex Greats in row 15 with Logan Hagerman. Moving right along to row 16, Seth Eggert. I'm just looking at the screen here because I don't have my timing and scoring loaded up. Colt Cecil, row 17, Peyton Johnson. Philip Young in row 18 with Colton Harvey.
And it's going to be Brandon Hughes in 37th, Gerald Underwood 38th, Chad Garlisi Jr. in 39th, Ian Rudd in 40th, Joe Morganti in 41st. I'll get that. Gregory Farmer 42nd, and Adam Eisenhower 43rd and last. Parker, quickly before we get this green flag, what is the deal with the Logan Clampett thing?
Well, all right, so that graphic does look like it was made by me, but I may have only insinuated that was what the graphic should have been. But basically, if you were not watching the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series All-Star Race this past Tuesday, Logan Clampett was leading on the last lap into the last corner at North Wilkesboro in that Valvoline Tundra and got spun out and wrecked basically by Blake Reynolds in a very aggressive move that I wasn't too happy about. So I feel like Logan deserved that win. And now he's here in the Firecracker 400 trying to make it into the top 11, and I'm feeling pretty confident he can get it done. The kid's got a lot of skills. That's why he drives for us.
There you have it, folks. From the man himself, Parker Kligerman. Couldn't have said it better if anyone else had been asked. Big green egg, green flag in the air. The first one here for the final INFRA Challenge 100. And it's going to be Ryan Doucette leading him down with a big push from behind from Michael P. Frisch there on the inside. William Byron in the outside lane. That's Will Norton pushing him.
And I love that William Byron car as you look at Logan Clampett in the transfer spot. A little early for that right now. We're going to have a long way to go, but look at that paint scheme for William Byron, the old Logitech photo on the front hood. I think that's so cool. They knocked out of the park William Byron Esports, and he's going to knock it all the way into the lead here as they go off their turn 3.
Side by side, we've seen so much side by side racing. Remember, the track temps are down here in Daytona for race number 8. Track temp is 98, so it's almost 15 degrees. As we got some trouble, cars sideways down pit road. No caution yet.
That's
sometimes we can
Seth
see that
Eggert.
come back.
Oh my gosh, what a rejoin by Alex Greats. He made it work. Oh, it wasn't quite like Ford Martin did yesterday, but that was pretty good.
Didn't glide all the way through the grass and perfectly up in front of the field like Ford Martin.
Transfer spot cam on Dylan Nadwadney. He's a streamer. D Natters spent a lot of time practicing. He's got great speed here at Daytona. He's been very committed to this event.
Yeah, we love Natters. Absolutely. He had a lot of focus, put game face on and all of that to be ready for this event. So we'll be keeping an eye on him as you look at the transfer spot. Cam with Daniel Hollis right there in the 11th spot. Stealth Marinac right around him. TJ Majors. Spotter TJ there in that 22 machine. Parker certainly one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he is. He just slotted into the 10th position. He's a solid racer. TJ is an OG of sim racing. He spent so much time on the service back at Attrition in 3 days, racing with him a long time, and he's a really smart race car driver too. I know he's a spotter, and so I think a lot of times that gives him like a perspective outside the car. And so when he's in the car and he's sim racing, he thinks of the bigger picture so often because he just always seems to be at the end of these races in position to win, no matter what we're racing. And I think he'll find his way up there before the end of this one.
Now, Parker, I don't know. As William Byron clears himself in front of Doucette for the lead there. I don't. Oh, we've got a caution on the speedway.
I thought we were going to set a new record to get to 5 or 6 laps.
I was just going to say the same thing I always say. What happens when we get 5 laps on these tires, Parker? These cars get slick, man.
Give me some insight. What happens?
Things get slick, man. They just get slick. I mean, this is of all the stacked fields, this has got to be I can't believe I'm just glancing down the leaderboard and I see TJ Majors just barely racing for a transfer spot. Looks like Philip Young there, a little trouble off of 4.
Yeah, just compounded as they scattered around him. I don't know.
Oh, and that's a bummer for the 6'10" of Dominic
Tough.
Rigney. Yeah, just kind of did a good job of missing him right here. Lost too much momentum, had to go through the grass, and bam! Oh,
Yeah,
that was a little early on it.
That's a weird one for me for Philip Young. It's like, I don't know. He bounced it off the wall. I get that. We've seen that a million times already. But
you got
the second hit off the wall in the tri-oval, that one's a little. That one I don't really. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, these cars get out of shape. This bias ply tire needs to be loaded. You just have to lift and regain your composure in these cars. I mean, I've been preaching it. It's running that outside lane. You just got to lift, man. That's just, if you're hit the fence, you got to back off.
Got to lift.
Race car drivers don't like lifting, though. That's the problem. I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing is it's against the programming of a race car driver to lift. You want to try and keep your foot in it, save it, make that Hollywood save, and move on without losing too much space, because you make that first mistake, you start giving up time, you start to panic, and you want to try and recover from it. And the first thing that you want to do is keep your foot in the throttle to try and recover from it, because you know if you lift, you're giving back more time. So it's a tough thing to train yourself to do. And right there, not the most spectacular wreck, but excluding that, a pretty good start to this one, I would say.
It's similar to so many of these. We get to that fourth lap or so, and then we just, something happens. Like I was watching it and I'm thinking, all right, I've seen this before. I've seen this play. I've seen this whole movie a couple times over. And we're gonna get to fourth lap. Maybe we'll make just the fifth, and there'll be a caution. And sure enough, there's a caution in fourth lap. So that's I just want to see them do a 10 or 15 lap green flag run. I think it would just be so cool to see these cars slide around. And maybe we just gotta wait till the Firecracker 200 and the 400 landing. But I had hope that we would see at least one here in these prelims, and we just haven't. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's coming up next.
Maybe, Parker. I mean, these guys get to build their setups. We've got 70-degree spoiler on these cars. I mean, you'd think there's a lot of stability built into them. I can imagine there's some guys that are going to be laying that spoiler back, trying to get some straightaway speed, but they're going to be a handful on old tires.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, well, that's something, if you're watching this, you're wondering about like the format of this whole deal. So these were the prelims. We had 344 drivers enter. Basically, the top 11 from each of these 8 races will get put into 2-round qualifying, where the 43 fastest will be able to race in the Firecracker 400. The other 43 will be subbed into the Firecracker 200, and then there's a couple alternates for that one. But the reason we keep saying this about the setups is those races will be open setup. So they're fixed setup now, they'll be open, and that's where we think you could see guys laying that spoiler down, or finding a different setup, or making the setup drive better for them. They'll still have to deal with variable weather that will be in tune with real life, but it's the hope that maybe they'll be able to drive something that's a little bit more to their liking per se compared to this fixed setup. But I don't know, David. I've had faith, I've had hope this whole time, and I've just been let down most of the time.
No, that's racing for you. Sometimes you hope for the best and you just get let down ultimately. But we get ready for a restart here.
Though.
Yeah, I know. It's I think we had to go through some of the growing pains here, as we had to pare down 344 drivers to just 88, and we were going to do it through racing with a difficult car that I think some people were underestimating how difficult it is to drive this car.
That's right.
At a difficult track with all the bumps and undulations and imperfect surface. So it's sort of the perfect combination of elements for a driver who may be a little bit on the inexperienced side, but we've certainly seen drivers with lots of experience struggle with it as well. So it's truly a great test of skill. And to take all of that, take 344 of those people, pare it down to 88 for the 2-round qualifying, and pull 43 out of that to go into the 400, and the others filter down into the 200. I mean, you've really accomplished something at that point, but it wasn't going to be without some bumps in the road. And again, no pun intended, given the nature of the track. But, we want to see green flag racing, and perhaps we didn't see as much as we wanted through the last 2 nights, but we've still seen some great racing when they were able to do it. And You know,
Well,
I think there's something to be said for that.
I agree, and there's a lot of cloud cover. This is the coolest track temperature we've seen. 98 degrees on the track, 76 ambient temp. Highest winds, though, so let's see if we get this green flag, if we can get some solid racing.
Big green egg, green flag back in the air, and William Byron Jr. down and away. Great jump for him. Alex Grates there on the inside as the lapped down car will slot in between Byron and Norton. Norton wasting no time, going to jump back down to the bottom to take that spot.
Oh, no, we got hit with the caution.
Oh, both of you look away. Just go find a calendar of cats or kittens or puppies or something. You just let's So how about the weather, boys? What's the weather like where you are?
Well, I want to look at this grid. Can we not look at these top? First of all, I mean, you look at the top 9. I mean, Logan Clampett. You got 2 world championship drivers, Eric Smith and Logan Clampett, that are 7th and 8th right now. I don't think that's safe. I mean, if we see green flag racing like we had in the last couple races, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. Was not safe in those spots until the very end, riding with Joe Morganti. Oh, and there it is, the checkup. A good save on that part, though.
Yeah, it looked to be right around that Brandon Hughes, Joe Morganti, Gerald Underwood. There's some huge gaps right there. Huge gaps.
You could see where Joe was doing a good job of trying to not hit the car in front of him. These guys back here, though, just not looking ahead. I mean, you see the field is checking up. Can't be on the gas.
It's tough.
It's just, yeah.
And it's not the first time we've seen it, which makes it even tougher. I know it's driving you guys up a wall. It's. I don't think we'll see as much of this.
Parker's got some
in the 200,
hair
400.
flip. We got
Parker's
some.
Pissed. He is mad.
Parker's like, I want to see some green flag.
Green flag racing.
One more. We're gonna see those finishes. I can't wait for the VODs and the clips of our final laps of some of these races that we've had racing for that transfer spot.
If we show those,
incredible.
It's gonna look like this is the greatest racing that it's ever been ever.
That's right.
The problem is there was all this other bit that led to those.
Right.
That's the beauty of editing, isn't it? You can make something look better than it was.
That's right.
That is true. Very true.
Well, hey, we got a lot to look forward to moving to 2-round qualifying. This race is not done yet. This race is not done yet.
I have a feeling Parker's about to go full steel horse Cadell and just start shotgunning Trulies on cam.
No. Oh, man. Oh. Man, Indie Runner 72 in my Twitch chat here says, I watched the pro sessions in practice, and we'll see just as many yellows. I don't know, though. 400 miles with no resets, you're eventually going to run out of cars.
10 cars, I don't think it'll be a lot of yellows.
Yep. I mean, Parker and I's goal is to have a green flag pit stop in this thing.
Anything?
You think it's going to happen?
We should basically put up a green flag pit stop cycle winner. If it gets to a green flag pit stop cycle, whoever's the leader after the entirety of the cycle under green flag wins a prize.
What if we could get a sponsor to come on board and just raise the prize purse by like a couple $1,000 if the field goes through a complete cycle of green flag pit stops without a yellow? Everybody gets paid. Everybody gets a bonus. Everybody gets a bonus.
Oh man. Well, I think we could get, maybe we get a big green egg that goes to, or it's a Blue Emu care pack or a set of Valvoline. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there for getting the whole green flag cycle through. I would, but I believe in that race we will see it.
I think we'll get our partner over here, far over on the other side of the screen, INFRA Resolutions. We'll put up some a code or something on their website. You can buy some hardware, whether it's a discount or something. Yeah, it's just on the other side of the screen.
There.
We'll get a code on Infra's website, so you can buy some computer hardware at a discount if we get a full green flag cycle. We got one to go. Let's
gift. Perfect gift.
Let's get some storylines going here, Parker, because we got a stacked field.
We do. We got a stacked field here. We got Matt Busa, who's outside, the eNASCAR driver for Williams F1 Esports. He's outside the transfer spot right now in 17, so he's got some work to do.
So who are you taking? Who's your story? Your transfer spot story? We're not worried about this top
Majors. I think TJ Majors is gonna, unless he finds himself getting some serious movement here, he's gonna continually be on that transfer spot.
Climbing his way up.
So.
Oh, you think he's gonna be on it? You don't think he's gonna climb into it?
Yep. I think he'll be on
Interesting.
it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm on Team D Natters. He's my story. He's been committed. I want to see him make it.
Yes,
what about
sir.
you, David?
I'm with you. I'm on Team D Natters as well. A fantastic member of my Twitch community. So generous and fantastic. I know how much he's put into this thing, and I would love to see him get in as well. So I'm keeping an eye on the 23 of Dylan Nadwadny. And boys, get a hold of your spotter, TJ. Tell him to close up that gap. What's he doing?
Wow. His spotter needs to be yelling at him.
Oh man, that's
look at the
Josh isn't gonna like that.
That's where it starts. It has that whole
right,
on the rest
green
of the
hasn't
field.
come out. Now he's fine, but Josh won't like what he saw there.
Yeah, because that accordion, you can see the whole accordion is happening now.
Yeah,
right.
Now
Kills
it's
the whole
all
field.
the way to the back.
Yep.
Big green flag back in the air, and yeah, the field's just absolutely scattered. And that's the effect that it has. It may not be in the car that's doing it, but way back in the field, it just gets worse and worse as they stack it up. But it's still going to be William Byron Jr. leading this field, but don't look now. Ryan Doucette on the charge on the outside lane. He's going to push Will Norton. Look at that slam draft down the back straightaway. He's going to push Norton out to the lead. Doucette up to second now. And here comes another car on the outside. Spencer E. Burns moving up into that fourth spot.
Well, it's a tandem down the backstretch. The high line's really coming to life there as they were coming off. Now it's losing a little bit of steam. William Byron's going to go to that high line, trying to use that to his advantage. He's still got the room down low, but he's going to get that push coming from Spencer E. Burns, I think you were calling him. Is that right?
Yeah.
He gets back to the back bumper, William Byron. Let's see if he gets that push down into turn 3.
Looking at this transfer spot right now. They are nose to tail, side by side. TJ Majors in the middle of it, Spencer Tart, and they're wrecking off of 2, big wreck off of 2. We see it right there on the screen.
Man,
this is an ugly one. This is a real ugly one, boys.
It's going to send. There's one still flipping. The 15, it looks like, of Peyton Johnson.
Oh my goodness. This starts with Zach Kelleher, the 75, who again ramps up the outside wall along the banking in turns 1 and 2, slides all the way down the track, and gets hit by every damn car in the field.
Yikes!
And Rudd,
full yeet right there. Did I do that right?
If he's in a motion rig, he is flown out of it.
He is throwing up
yeet.
right now.
That was disgusting.
Say that again.
Disgusting.
Again. The 15 Rainier ride, that's a classic.
Oh my gosh, every time that hurts.
Maybe some ARCA brakes there. I'm not sure if the caution was out when that happened.
ARCA brakes.
That's rough. Poor ARCA. I don't even think ARCA wants to claim that, but
no.
Well, let me tell you something about Ian Rudd. I think gets is the recipient of the full yeet award for this race, because my dude was still doing 195 miles an hour when he drove through Zach Kelleher.
Yep, Philip's gonna need a reset after that one, and
I don't think he just ever acknowledged there was other cars on the track.
He didn't move at all. No. And oh god,
someone just blew an engine.
Hopefully, no relation to Ricky Rudd. Ricky Rudd fans out there shuddering at the fact.
My chat pointed out that even the blue cone took a hit there.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the cone. Oh no, get an F in chat for the cone.
Need it. F in chat. F in chat.
Oh man, well the 015 Ian Rudd, we hope you're okay, man.
Yeah, keep it up. That's whoa.
That's tough. That's tough right there. Well, we'll bring you into the booth. Obviously, you're looking at our shiny faces here. David Schildhouse, Parker Kligerman, Landon Castle. We've been guiding you along on this journey tonight, much like we did last night. And if it's your first time joining us, welcome in. Hope you're enjoying the show and hope that you continue to come back over the next couple of weeks. I think we came to the consensus that we're calling it Fire Weeks. That was a recommendation someone from the community
Fire
as
Week.
well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not
I like
Speed Week.
Because we can't use Speed Weeks without getting sued. So we're going to go with Fire Weeks. A big thank you to the individual who proposed that idea. I know there's a lot of you, but we're going to go with Fire Weeks. But for those who are back for a second night, welcome back. And just remember, we got a lot more racing action coming your way next week. We've got qualifying, 2-round qualifying to set the field for the Firecracker 200, and then ultimately the Firecracker 400, which will go off on July 1st. The Firecracker 200, of course, on June 29th. And do we have a set time of when qualifying goes and when our broadcast goes next week, boys?
Is it 7 or 8 next week? It looks like Parker's confirmed.
I want to say 8.
It's 8 Eastern next week for 2-round qualifying. Very classic structure. Single car qualifying, top 20 advance after the first day. Remember, we're qualifying 88 cars, by the way. So we're going to be able to focus a lot on the drivers, a lot on their paint schemes. It's open setups. So these drivers, you're going to definitely have to tune in. We're going to talk to as many of them as we can, talk to them about their setups, their thought process. You can adjust the spoiler in this car and really focus on the driver star power. We want to elevate these drivers in our events. We want to share them on social media. We want to give them content. That's why you've probably seen the tune-in graphics that we've been distributing. We want our drivers that make it through this field to be big-time drivers. We want this to be a big stage. So 2-round qualifying will be a lot of fun. Locking in top 20 round 1. Everybody will come back second day. And then it gets tricky. You can stand on your time if you're 21st through 43rd, or you can re-rack it and make another run and see if you can improve. If you stand on your time, that's what you're stuck with. If the track gets faster and 30 cars behind you bump you, then you're out and you're not racing in the Firecracker 400. So the following week we'll have the 200-mile race and the Firecracker 400. We got a lot of cool stuff too coming on the broadcast. We've got the NASCAR Hall of Fame has come in and helped us out. We're going to have a lot of good content that'll throw it back to 1987. I'm super excited to show you guys. If you guys like this broadcast at all, I don't know if you do. I do. I think it's great. Our team has done a wonderful job. It's going to get even better.
Hell yeah. Looks great. Graphics are great. That was some of the most consistent feedback that I got were the graphics, Parker. Everyone loves them.
Cool. The whole team's knocked out of the park. Chris Handel, I mean, he's done an amazing job. Ryan Bauer and everyone, all our camera guys. This is it's been a huge team effort, and it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. Mrs. Castle as well. Yep. My lovely girlfriend, Shane Ward. She's been great letting me sit in here this whole time. So let's get back green and see some awesome racing.
Yes, and thanks to nobody who I have to say thank you to for letting me do this.
You can thank Big Green Egg. You know, Father's Day is a good time of year to buy a Big Green Egg for your dad. So go check out biggreenegg.com.
Absolutely. Big green egg, green flag back in the air. We're looking at Liam Brotherton in the transfer spot cam from Transervice. Big thanks to Transervice, who's been sponsoring that transfer spot cam the last 2 nights. Will Norton out in front leading Ryan Doucette. Byron there in third, and it's a gaggle behind him with a lap car of Alex Grace leading that second pack in front of Michael P. Frisch, Logan Clampin. They're side by side with Spencer E. Burns and Josh Parker there along with Eric J. Smith. Haven't talked about Smith yet tonight.
Sorry,
Eric.
Yeah, I was looking at the transfer spot. Go ahead, Landon.
No, Eric Smith driving our Big Green Egg ride.
Yeah, he drives for I think it's Jim Beaver Esports in the NASCAR series. So
there he is.
Green Egg sponsorship, and that car.
I love how you can make
classic.
a classic paint scheme out of anything, Parker.
Yeah, especially green. Green is a great classic color. The gold wheels. I mean, that's just an awesome looking race car right there.
Green number 9
fits in perfectly.
Letting you soak in the sounds there. Just, man, it's fun to see that flyby cam when they come flying by. They're wide open. Just committed to it. And then look at this transfer spot. It's still a hornet's nest. It's unbelievable. They're right on top of each other. We've got damaged cars. We got clean cars. Brotherton looks like he's done 500 laps at Bristol with that back end of his number 10 all beat in as they're about 3 wide with Marinac there on the bottom. That's Hallis in the middle and Burns up top. They get it sorted out. A little bit of patience and restraint shown there.
3 wide a little bit. They've sort of settled it down. There we go. We start to get 2 wide again, but man, that had my heart in my throat there for a second. I really thought we were going to see another wreck for that transfer spot, but they cleaned it up, and now they've gotten back to being basically 2x2 as we look at the lead battle here. Logan Clampett trying to push William Byron, and we got that transfer battle up in the top right.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me nervous just being right on that yellow line on the bottom, because the track is so rough off of turn 4, so it's easy to clip the apron, and it doesn't just spin you out, it shoves the whole car up the racetrack, and usually the guy on the outside of you is the one that pays the price.
Listen to this onboard for a little bit.
I don't even want to say nothing. Let's just listen to Josh Parker work the throttle around the track here. Gives you a great sense for how much the car moves around as we look back at Spencer E. Burns. Just the amount of motion and movement that the drivers have to deal with. It's so hard to tell from the broadcast sometimes until you go on board and get that driver's eye view of how much the cars move around, the speed that they carry, and everything going on around them. It gives you hopefully a little bit better understanding of why they struggle so much as we watch these hands of Spencer E. Burns doing work right now down the back straightaway. But yeah, I mean, you'll see how much wheel input he has to put into this thing as he follows Josh Parker around.
Not the fastest.
Bounce around.
Yeah, the car's just moving all over the place. You know, this group of drivers, they look tight on each other, but they're doing a good job keeping it off the wall on turn 4 exit. It's got kind of a 15-car breakaway here, it seems like.
They're catching a lapper here. Hopefully he's able to stay low, get out of the way for these drivers. Doesn't cause any issues. Oh, no, 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 no.
That's close.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. He's in the grass.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Of course.
Look out.
Oh, and we have a blowover. No, a
That's
blow
the whole
up
field.
a little bit.
It's the whole field. The whole field's in this one down the back straightaway. They reckon it to 3. That's the entire field wiped out in that one. Oh, my goodness. That is a major oopsie doopsie whoopsie. File it under things you hate to see. That so
involved.
Boy.
We were is the lap car there of Peyton Johnson. He just wasn't able to hold the bottom. I mean, the leaders were coming. They looked like they were going to get out of the way fine. He touched the apron on the bottom, and it just caused all sorts of calamity.
He tried to get out of the way, but it was just almost too late. The leaders caught him at the wrong time. I mean, he did a good job of holding the bottom. It's just not much you can... It's just that they just caught him at the absolute wrong time, really.
So this is going to be one of the wildest shakeups we've seen yet in the prelim.
Yeah, with most of the field. Most of the field getting damaged there, I imagine most of them are going to come down and have to take the reset as well. That's going to put some new names towards the front, but Byron got through. Eric Smith got through.
I think
Liam Brotherton made it through. Christian Sanford had a great on board there. You saw amazing job. Amazing job.
TJ Majors made it through. He's got some damage, though. TJ's in fourth right now.
You can throw a little blame at the lap car, but they bypassed the lap car, and then they continued to wreck each other as they scattered, and nobody really lifted to give each other lead.
Yeah, they just didn't give each other enough room.
Car was also, he spooked the second place guy on the bottom. He lost the nose a little bit, got up. That caused everyone to go around each other, and yeah, the chaos ensued from there. But I don't think we see that wreck without that lap car being there. And the lap car was fine until he touched the apron, and it spooked the car that was in second place at the bottom.
The car just jumped up a little bit.
Yeah.
William Byron, if he was looking in his mirror, he had a shot there, didn't he?
There's I think there's a lot of blame to go around on that one. Clampett almost made it through. You saw him get up on 2 wheels. Michael P. Frisch was involved. I mean, most of the field was involved in that one. That's the biggest wreck that we've seen yet in these 2 nights of prelim races. And just how much it can shake up the field now. I mean, Byron Smith, Sanford, Cronin, Wetbusa are up there in the top 5, but a lot of the heavy hitters that we were watching are way back in the field now. They had to take a reset. They lost all that track position, and we've talked about it so many times, Parker. You lose that track position, you're almost at a 0% chance of getting into that top 11.
This race will move to time, as we see there on the graphic, so it's going to be, sub 12 minutes at this point, and it's really, really hard because, these leaders won't pit. There won't be pit strategy, so William Byron, most likely, barring a disaster, will not pit this entire race. No one really in the top 11 will pit, so it's really going to come down to having to make up that time via passing cars and driving.
I do want to make a point here. That one point though, we've seen more green flag laps in this race than any of our other races, and I do think that some of these drivers that have had to pit, take a reset, and get 4 new tires, there was enough cars that wrecked that it'll be interesting to see who that first guy is. The first guy come off pit road, what position he's in with new tires, because there is going to be an advantage there. Now, obviously, with the restarts are always a crapshoot. We know that. I mean, there's a good chance these guys don't go half a lap 3 times in a row. The race is over, right? But if you see 4 or 5 laps of green flag racing, Parker, I think that someone like TJ Majors, who got through the wreck, came out of the smoke in 3rd, but still had to pit for a reset, his reset and 4 tires are going to look pretty good.
You bring up a great point. We did do, more green flag running than we've seen as of late. So, did TJ Majors have to pit? Is that what we're showing?
Car looks brand new to me.
Yeah, he's back in 32nd.
So he had enough damage. I thought he did get enough damage. Oh, that's a shame. So he's gonna be back. He's gonna be back maybe in 30th. That's gonna be tough. He's in
30th is too far back.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of guys
up this field completely.
Yeah, it's
we
definitely
take a look at the big names we were following before that yellow. Will Norton, 33rd. TJ Majors, 34th. Spencer Burns, 31st. Ryan Doucette, 30th. Michael P. Frisch, 27th. Liam Brotherton, 26th. Logan Clampett, 24th. Dylan Nidwadney in 23rd. So, a huge shakeup in the field. And now Steph Marinac finds himself in that transfer position. Josh Parker in 10th. So we get ready for this restart and again, trying to get these cars closed up as we get them back underway. But it's going to be William Byron leading us back to the green flag. You see the Barney cam there, big green egg, green flag back in the air, transfer spot cam provided by
There's the accordion
there.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
big accordion.
Cars everywhere.
Oh, they're wrecking. Oh my goodness.
That's TJ. Tore up in that one.
Brotherton's in it. No
He's on pit road,
caution.
still green.
No caution for all that.
I think we all wrecked on pit road before the
we
green came out.
got 2 guys spinning here into one. Let's see if they can hold on to it. Is that Busa? No,
That's Spencer Tart. Spencer Tart goes around after contact. They were 3 wide. Steph Marinac in that transfer position throws it to the bottom of 3 wide under Tart and Dylan Smith. And there just wasn't room. There just wasn't room for that move. Smith holds on to it. Tart does not. So a lot going on there. The restart jumbling that got a lot of people really messed up. And then that issue there in turns 1 and 2. Just, I don't know. What do you see there?
I see we're going to be out of race cars.
Yeah.
I mean, they all got resets, but you got to think the first couple cautions in this race was the back of the field wrecking. They all took their resets. Now the front of the field wrecked. They took resets. And now the back of the field is back up front again. So, are we out of? How many cars are we gonna have left?
Well,
we're losing them at a rapid pace. I'll tell you that. We are losing them at a rapid pace. I show 32 cars on the lead lap right now. TJ Majors being the last of them.
And I believe TJ's gonna have a lot of damage. Yeah.
Man, oh man. That's tough. We got a check of social media again. Hashtag Firecracker400. It's been a great involvement from the community today on Twitter with that hashtag. Justin Malillo with a fantastic shot, looking at William Byron and the huge wreck behind him. What an absolutely beautiful shot there. Everybody checking in and let us know how much they're enjoying this event. We got a lot of great onboards from people who've been involved in these races, of them getting through wrecks and things like that. So again, if you want to stay involved, find us on Twitter. Give a follow to eRacer as well on Twitter, and stay connected for everything that's continuing to evolve and build here over the next 2 weeks with Fire Weeks. I like that. I think that's going to stick around.
Yeah, Fire Weeks. I like it. I think you did. Yeah, that's cool. I like that because it's hot. It's supposed to be really hot. I mean, if you were able to feel the heat of these cars, it would be incredibly hot. This racetrack is incredibly hot. So I like Fire Weeks.
Well, the heat might be the tempers of some of these drivers as well coming out of here, Landon.
Boys, my Apple Watch has just gone into reserve power mode at this point. I mean, this has been a marathon of a prelim night here today. We're putting everything to the edge here as we come down the last few laps of the first ever prelim night of the Firecracker 400.
A Class C driver. That is Spots.
Travis Spots.
Running 13th.
Well, could this be our underdog story?
I think it could be.
Could be.
Travis Spots. That's I think, is that a 15? I'm trying to find this. 1561 I rating.
1561, yeah.
Well, I mean, with all those wrecks, I mean, it really mixed everything up. I mean, Josh Parker found himself back into the top 10. Matt Buse is up there. Logan Clampett is back in 19th, Parker.
Yeah, not going well. Need some green flag running here.
I think my boy Dylan Natawadney is probably going to be on the outside looking in here. So Travis Spots it is. Here's our underdog. We want to see him in.
It's just like
rookie,
what was that? Aaron Roth, the rookie we had near the transfer spot, was that 2 races ago?
That's right.
Yep.
We're now all about Travis Spots. Come on, Travis Spots. 69. Greg Biffle would love the number of your car.
Nice. Get a nice
And
chat for Travis Spots.
Nice in the chat for Travis.
69.
Here you go. Here's your dad humor. Travis Spots is going to need 2 more spots to get into that 11th position. So he can transfer.
There you go.
Oh my God, I'll see myself out.
Yeah.
I feel gross after saying that one.
We need you.
Okay, I'll stay around. Lights are out atop the pace car, which means we're getting ready for another restart. Let's take a look at the top 10 real quick. It's William Byron Jr. out in front, Eric Smith second, Christian Sanford third, Gary Cronin went in fourth, Matt Busa in fifth, Dylan Thomas, Logan Hagerman, Josh Parker, Colton Harvey, and Steph Marinac in that top 10. Of course, Brent Punkari in the 11th position. My little buddy Dylan Smith there in 12th. I know Dolan, as we call him, is really amped up for this race and was really looking forward to it, trying to work with his buddy Michael P. Frisch out here. They're separated by about 10 cars, but Dylan, with a shot at this thing, just got to survive here as we're getting down to the end of this. This might be the final restart.
Well, fingers crossed. We got a lot of drivers with a lot of work to do back in this pack. This is going to get frisky.
All right, wrong Dylan Smith. My bad. There's too many of them out here. I can't keep track of all of them. Anyways, we're back under green thanks to Big Green Egg. Sorry, Dylan. You're still my little buddy, but not this one. Everyone's single file fighting to get down to the bottom. We've seen that before. 2 wide, Josh Parker and Logan Hagerman fighting over that 7th and 8th position. Parker on the inside.
We got a wreck in the back into turn 1.
A lot of junk cars in the air.
Yep. Oh.
I think that's going to do it, too. I think that's the end of it.
So.
Half minutes. That's close.
Well, here's the interesting part. We've seen a couple times where if they get close enough when they get that white flag, it does allow them 1 lap past the time limit. So we'll see what this brings us.
Don't go anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this
our best finishes have been the ones where it's a white flag finish and no caution.
So I'm gonna say that wreck was absolutely 100% avoidable. Colt Cecil, I almost called him Chuck Cecil, the University of Arizona grade. Colt Cecil absolutely does not leave a room for Jacob Barbie coming through with a head of steam. Completely chops him off, which sends Joe Adgie cartwheeling and then gets smacked a couple more times. Logan Clampett's involved. Adgie up into the catch fence. Clampett, a lot of damage there. Just that's I don't know, bad block, poor awareness. I don't really know what it was.
I mean,
More awareness.
There was a run from Jacob. There's some racing involved there. I mean, you just can't block like that. But it's late in the race. You know, he needed to throw a block. He needed to get a push. But it was just a little bit too late. That's all.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out where we're at
boy
here.
Travis Spots. Travis Spots was not involved in that, but he's still in that 13th spot. He didn't get any spots.
He's
I'm going to stop saying
two more.
spots now.
Can you one more time? Spots.
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 He needs 2 more spots.
He needs some spots, guys.
So he needs 2 more of himself. Is that what you're saying?
He needs some spots. Yeah, he needs 2 more of himself. Hey, it was a good shot of Logan Clampett's beautiful Valvoline scheme. Have you heard of them? They're a great oil company. One of the best in the world. The best in the world.
Oh, well, I was about to say one of the best in the world, huh?
The best. The best.
There you go. There we go.
Actually, the world's first motor oil, just so you know. Yes. Over 100.
Hashtag first.
Yep. Hashtag.
Freddie Kraft chimes in on Twitter. Damn it, TJ Majors. Fire your crew chief. Should have stayed out. Door bumper clear car could have hung on for a lap. Hashtag time limit. Hashtag Firecracker 400.
Hey, what was he doing? If that engine didn't blow, should never have pitted. So.
I better straighten up.
Oh, yeah.
Parker, you're looking disheveled.
Sorry, guys. David's making us look bad, being all perfect and everything.
It's like a rough night out with the boys here.
We're getting late at night. It's oh yeah.
Late where you are? It's only 9:15 where I am. And the night's still young, and so are you.
Aren't you lucky?
Sometimes.
Lucky.
Tough to make the start of these things, though. Remember, 3 hours is a long time.
It is.
But we're waiting to see if this thing's over. If we're gonna get a 1-lap deal, I think it's over. Personally.
Well, let's talk to the leader of this thing.
That's what I was thinking.
We're just gonna talk to him while he's driving and pacing. I like it.
I think so. Can you? But see, my problem here is, can you scroll in Discord while you're dragging someone? That's what I'm trying to tackle.
Here's the quicker thing to do, Landon. Right-click on them, and then you can.
That's a good way to do it.
Of where to bring them to.
Got him.
Yeah. Well, so we've got him in here. Hey, William, you're pretty much wire to wire here. We're not getting the green. Is it over?
It says 1 to green, but it says white flag. So I guess.
Okay.
So I guess we're good.
So he's gonna end up. What he'll end up doing is extending the caution, and take the checkered. So
I gotcha.
But great job.
Thanks, man.
Nice run in dominating fashion as well. Tell us about how you prepared for this thing, knowing kind of the format of fixed setups and then going to open setup and having to advance.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's these cars are really fun. I got to mess around with them the last couple of days, and they're just really fun. And you gotta, they're kind of like super lazy, but at the same time you're going super fast. So just tried to kind of get the timing right of my entry and kind of how the car feels there. And luckily, like, there is some element of side draft with these things, so it's pretty cool to race with them. And they're pretty awesome. So definitely a big fan of them, and iRacing's done a good job with the tracks, and this is a cool event you guys are putting on.
Thank you, William.
Yeah, so we looking ahead, speaking of the event, now that you're definitely in, have you put much thought into how it's going to be open setup qualifying and what you're going to do there and how much time you're going to have to spend on that setup?
Yeah, so I'm horrible at setups. Actually Chad, my crew chief, has gotten on iRacing lately, and we've done a lot of stuff with setups, and so maybe he'll help out a little bit, but probably Nick Onger and John, they'll probably help me out with setups in some way. So I really don't know what to do with them. I guess you're going to have the car super low in the back to go fast, but I'm sure qualifying is going to be tough. I mean, all the pro guys are really fast on here, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, you're crossing the start-finish line right now, taking the checkered flag. Do you feel like practicing for the 200-mile race or the 400-mile race? Hopefully you qualify in for the 400. Is it going to be hard to practice in this kind of traffic and figure out what your car is going to do in a big draft?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know how it works with whether it's impound or whatnot, but I think you're probably going to have a different version of a setup for qualifying to go fast. And it's weird, you don't really qualify right around the bottom here. You kind of let the car drift up. So it's going to be a balance between handling, I think, and trying to get speed for that one lap. But the race will just probably be a similar setup to this, just making sure it handles well. So you can make moves. So the outside lane worked really good for this race, and kind of, like I said, the side draft was super effective. So it's cool.
So, hey, just real quick, tell us about that Logitech logo on the front. That's such a super cool scheme you had put together there, and I just love that throwback Logitech logo.
Yeah, it's neat, man. I grew up on Logitech wheels, G25 and pedals, and it's cool. They've come on board with our esports team, and this is their logo from the 80s. So I guess it's 88 when it started. So pretty neat. So I'm happy about that.
That's awesome. Well, congrats, man. Thank you again for being a part of this event. We love having you and look forward to seeing you in qualifying.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, William.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Wow, what a winner.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? You did call it. You called him the best iRacer, didn't you?
Those were my notes. Yes. So I did call him the best iRacer, but it was supposed to be the best iRacer of like the real racers. But he confirmed it. He's a pretty good iRacer. So I think he would be in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series if he was just an iRacer and maybe had the time to commit to getting there. But guys, that's it. Prelims are done. David, Landon, wow. That's like, what do we do? Basically 8.5 hours of heat races, essentially, over the last 2 nights.
2 days. I mean, we've had some drama. We've had some good racing. We had a lot of caution, Phil. I think we got pretty good at that, but we had some dramatic finishes. We had some Coke Series drivers, eNASCAR, Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers come through, advance. We've had some heartbreaks at the highest level. We've had some other big names in the sport, like Dale Jr., William Byron. No NASCAR drivers advancing from day one. They all came from day two. Actually, how about this? 3 NASCAR drivers. Wait, 2 swept these races today? Garrett Smithley and William Byron?
Much. Yeah.
Took up half the race.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so
Why
we
do you
went
think
for
that
nothing
is?
last night, and then we got them in this night. Let's take a look at the results. We haven't talked about our transfer car there.
No, we'll look at the results real quick. William Byron Jr., we talked to him, gets the win. Eric Smith in second. Christian Sanford in third. Gary Cronenwet fourth. Matt Busa in fifth. Dylan Thomas sixth. Josh Parker 7th. Logan Hagerman in 8th. Colton Harvey 9th. Steph Marinac in 10th. And Brett Punkari holds on for that 11th and final transfer position. It looks like we just brought Brett into the booth. That's a lot of B sounds, but Brett, you're in, transferred, 11th position. Congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, it was, I guess, controversial circumstances, what happened at the front of the pack, but I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, I'm not really surprised there was going to be a lot of wrecking just because of how these cars are, and I just had I was so really apprehensive about this, but it's a lot of relief to get this Princess Daisy car into the second round.
I bet. I mean, there's a lot of guys who can't say that they moved on. So for what you accomplished, you did something not a lot of people did last night or tonight. So that's a job well done to you. Tough racing out there. We saw a few squirts of racing, I guess you could say, but a lot of pacing. So when you're in that position and you're right in that transfer spot, you don't have a lot of time because green flags are few and far between. How do you handle that? What was your approach?
I think the approach was to kind of like be among the front group. Like the very last restart, I had decent enough of a jump to where I can be with the main pack. But I had a feel at the same time like guys were going to start going full throttle into the corners, and I was not willing to go for full throttle into the corners because of the tires are going to be. And if push comes to shove, maybe I'll make a move. But the last thing I want to do is just try to block like a dummy. Like the last thing I want to do is wreck guys. Like I'm trying to be like a Johnny Benson out here and not wreck guys. Be like as respectful as I can in terms of racing. So it's a tough to approach that, but like I said, it worked out, I guess.
Man, that's good to hear. A clean racer making it through just like that. Got a lot of work ahead of you. We've been talking about open setups, getting through 2 rounds of qualifying, and then obviously the long race with no resets. So hopefully you've got the time to invest and do it right. Get yourself in the show.
Well, setup is gonna be my biggest problem. Anytime I run the open setup races, I just download the setups from VRS because I can feel what a car might do, but I can't set up a car with beans.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Brett. I mean, take a look at Brian Blackford on Twitch. He's raced his way in through the field. He's my NASCAR crew chief. He's going to be building his setups, and I think he's going to be pretty transparent about it on his stream. So, he wants to share with the community what he's doing. And the 88 of you drivers that have advanced, you got a lot of work to do. I think you could put the same setup under everybody's car in single car qualifying, and you still got to drive them.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like I gotta figure out how to do the qualifying like decently because one thing for sure, I'm betting a lot of guys are gonna have like the quicker steering ratio. I'm running like an 18-to-1 ratio because of other tracks I've been on to save the right front tire. And a little bit back to Tuesday, a race I did on Tuesday in a league, I was killing them on the long run because they were pitting so much earlier, and I could have gone maybe 30 or maybe 50 laps on a set of tires at Atlanta, by the way. But it was that's gonna be my biggest problem, but I'm gonna give it all I got, and that's all I can say really.
Good luck to you, Brett.
Man. Appreciate you being here, and great job making it in, man, and we really appreciate you being part of the event.
Thanks, and it's also a pleasure to even talk to you guys, Logan, Parker, and Mr. Shillhouse. It's probably gonna stick with me for quite a bit to talk to you guys. Thanks.
That's all right. Thanks.
There you go. A happy fellow there, Brett. Oh gosh, now I'm getting his name wrong. Brett Punkari. Obviously, he was very excited. You could hear it. Meant a lot to him to get that transfer spot. And
we love to see that,
really,
man. That's
yeah. I think that's one of the coolest things. The sheer joy, and you hear that in his voice. So that's really, really neat. So congrats to him and the rest of the 43 drivers who made it in tonight, fellas. Like we've done it. We've got through the prelim races and we've whittled everybody down, and now we can focus on open setup qualifying to see the fastest of the fast to set the fields for the Firecracker 200 and 400.
Yep, David, it's going to be big. It's going to be a lot of work. Parker, I will let you talk. We're gonna find a good raid here. If you guys follow us on social media, we'll be posting the official results, the official 88 car lineup, and over the course of the next week, you're going to see a trickle of content highlighting these stars that are going to be going through 2 rounds of qualifying. Like I said on the broadcast, you're going to see a lot of new elements you've never seen before in sim racing. We're going to highlight these drivers and their paint schemes. It's going to be fun, Parker.
It's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait to see who you're going to find in raid, but I'm really looking forward to the qualifying show. I think we sort of showed some of the things we're going to bring into that, but we're going to get very interactive. We want you, the viewers, in the chat, throughout all the different places you could be watching us, to be involved in that broadcast and be along for the ride. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I just guarantee the Firecracker 200 and the 400 are going to be some awesome, awesome races for what I saw at the front of these fields. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you to all 344 drivers that attempted here with this Firecracker 400. We've now whittled it down to 88, and we hope many of them will return for our next events in the future. But guys, this has been a blast. I've enjoyed working with both of you in this first capacity, and looking forward to next week in the qualifying races and getting in those big races the week after.
There you go, Parker. David, thank you. You both. I'm Landon Castle. And as long as he keeps a clean mouth, I want to raid Chandler. He's racing right now.
Don't get your hopes up on the clean mouth part.
Let's just he just started a race, so tell him to behave, and you guys enjoy yourselves. Chandler's he's looks like he's running the Xfinity car or the ARCA cars. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll let you guys watch him. Have fun. Tune in next week. Follow us, eracer_GG on Twitter. Myself, Landon Castle, Parker Kligerman, David Schildhouse way over there. We're all streaming. We'll all be racing. And the Firecracker 400 will continue.
Thank you very much.